I'm going to do the intro first and then do the song. Hey, everyone. We are the three morons. Well, two of us today. I am Zach.
I am Carl.
And real quick, before we do anything, we made to episode 10.
Yay!
And I want to date one of our theme songs we are going to try.
Okay, here it is.
Welcome to the Three Morons podcast, starring Zach, Carl, and Jake. We're going to talk about sports. The big board and the cool take. Just sit back, relax, crack open a cold beer, and enjoy the show. Evening, mornings. Welcome to the Three Morons podcast, starring Zach, Carl, and Jake. We are going to talk about sports, the big board, and a cold take. Just sit back, relax, crack open a cold beer, and enjoy the show. Evening, mornings. Welcome to the Three Morons podcast. Starring Zach, Carl, and Jake. We are going to talk about sports, the big board, and a cold take. Just sit back, relax, crack open a cold beer, and enjoy.
I think it's getting kind of repetitive.
I think that does repeat, but that's one of the songs we're testing out.
Yep.
We do have more coming along the way. We just thought about this about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So anyway,
And then we got to foot us the bill, and then we got to pay for it. Yes.
but we are the three morons. Again, two morons here today. The other moron had something else to do.
Yep.
Episode 10. We are live in the air everywhere on YouTube. We'll be on the airways and byways. Maybe eventually we'll be like Pat McAfee and Big Take. But I am Zach.
I am Carl. And how do you feel making it to 10 episodes?
I feel good. It's
Only took us 14 weeks, but
yeah, only took us 14 weeks out, not 10.
I
But I think it's good. I think we also, we all got lives.
Yep.
But 10 episodes is great. It definitely shows that we enjoy what we're doing.
Yep.
Because we have about 46 followers, so we definitely enjoy it. We don't do it for no money.
No.
But it's great. It's great talking about sports with buddies and friends and kind of give our takes about things. I mean, we're not casual fans, but we're not paid to do this either. So we don't sit there and watch a million things. We do our research and everything. Also, it, like we touched on it, 14 weeks, right? But at the same time, 10 weeks, 10 episodes. I think now we're coming to the thing where, hey, if one of us has something to do, the other two can finally, hey, they could do the show. Because you could put, there's three of them normally.
Yeah.
If you're doing 3 episodes and then one person's gone, it's like, what happened to that person? Why are they not there? So I like it though. 10 episodes, hopefully 100 more to go.
100 more, huh?
At least 6
So-
seasons in a movie.
It was like watching Joe Rogan Experience the other day. He's on like episode 2005-7, but he does like 5 a week. And I'm just like, how do you do that? And you have it out like 2-hour shows every day. It's just incredible. Just doing
Well,
this.
it's kind of like what Mr. Google and then watch the Timcast. They do 5 episodes a day or 1 episode a day,
5 a day,
maybe 2 a day, and they've been going on for probably 2000. But we do 1 a week, so we get to 2,500. That's a few years.
It's going to be a few years. Yeah.
We'll be retired by then. We'll have a lot more takes.
A lot more takes.
And we'll be older. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things we're going to talk about first is we're going to review our picks. Do you want to talk fantasy first? Or you want to review picks?
Let's go over fantasy real quick.
Yeah, I lost 147 to 125.
I won mine 115 to like 109 or 07.
I got it pulled up right here. Jay beat Megan 122.6 to 122.68.
Yeah,
her kicker got more points than her running back did.
That's one of those few times that the point something did matter.
No, and beat Jake 158 to 115. I'm not going by the point total, like the 0.9 or whatever. I only brought that up because it was literally 0.08 she lost by.
Right, because you have to use that to decide the win.
Right. Jess beat Lynn 131 to 80. And then Bailey beat Bill, Google 99-77.
Which was the worst game of the week. Lowest points, I should say.
Most points was scored by Pat.
I think for the lowest points, though, if you look at their teams, Bailey didn't have Christian McCaffrey.
No.
I didn't help her set her roster in time for that because that was literally like game time decision that Monday night. Like,
oh yeah, they tried
an hour before the damn game. They're like, "Oh, he's not playing." Like, Oops, my bad.
We'll get into the NFL a little bit more later about the 49ers, but he was placed on IR today, so he's at least out for the next 4 games.
And
We'll get
then
into that a
I
little
think
bit.
with Bill's team there, the Fiery Brios, which we will break down later, I do think he has some bad luck with quarterback, as we will talk about when we break down
Yes.
later.
Yes.
And in fantasy, your quarterback plays horrible. It's
Yep.
kind of hard to win.
Well, and he's got 2 games under his belt now with this guy, so it's like I said, we'll look at his backup because one of the reasons why we're bringing up his team is because of what happened Thursday.
Yes,
and we'll talk about that.
But the quarterback he went with on that game didn't play good either, because that was Joe Burrow at that time, which we'll get into that as well.
Jeez.
Mr. Slim Shady, please sit down.
Yes. So we also got. So how did we do on our?
But for the fantasy, for the let's go over the for the podcast. I'm 1-0. You guys are 0-1.
Yep.
As any new viewers want to know, we do a fantasy football league. It's just between me, Carl, and Jacob that anything's on the line.
Yep.
Whoever finishes worst out of us 3, so it could be first, second, third. Then whoever finished third place in fantasy football has to do a punishment. But whoever finishes worst out of the 3 of us morons over here has to do a punishment. And the people, we decided this earlier, the people who are in the fantasy football league each put in one punishment to put on a hat or a wheel. And my punishment, I showed you guys earlier, I'm never going to change it, is mac and cheese lemonade.
Gotta drink it. Or
you gotta drink the lemonade with mac and cheese in it. I send it to you guys so you could easily click on the recipe, maybe.
Right.
If there was one.
Right. I haven't came up with one yet, but I'm gonna do a little research on it this week.
I figured that's better than dirty rag water.
Yes, definitely. Hangnails and everything. Okay. Bring it up a little closer. How's that sound? A lot better? Looks good, I guess. All right.
So now we'll go over our picks.
We'll go over the picks, yeah.
All right, so for the picks,
we are very more worried about the theme song.
These picks are just review
of
what happened. So right now, the overall standings is Jake 6-4.
That's bullshit.
I'm 5-5, and Carl 5-5. So the one that you lost today was Oregon State, but you tried to get the extra points.
I tried to get
against Oregon.
There was no chance of that happening. We watched a little bit of that game. I'm like, no way.
And then I think we had the Rams. We not with the Rams. We had Detroit over the Rams.
We had Detroit over
the
Rams.
We had who was the
Monday night was San Francisco and the Jets.
Yeah, we all had San Francisco.
Yeah, rightfully so.
And then Thursday night we all had I had
me and you had Miami
Dolphins, and then he had Buffalo, and that's what got him the lead. And then today we had Oregon State.
Yep.
We had Kansas State yesterday with Arizona, which I think Jake had Arizona. We had Kansas State, so that's why we're only one game behind. So and now we're going forward, starting later in the episode. We will do the Monday night game, the Sunday night game, Monday night game, and Thursday night for NFL. And then for college, what we did is we all picked 3 teams, and then we sent it to Mr. Google. Mr. Google at random pulled it out of a hat, literally pulled it out of the hat. No computer, nothing. And we assigned it. So we each got different games for college, so that way we can't piggyback of each other. Because again, this is also a wheel punishment, which we'll just do the same wheel as fantasy. So when everyone sends their things in, or maybe we'll have some of the viewers this time give us some stuff, and we'll pick like the 10 best ones, or everyone, if we pick it out of a hat, whoever does it. So if you like and subscribe us, but go to our Facebook page, 3 Morons Pod, become a friend of us, and I will comment on something, post on the wall, and say what the punishment might be. At the end of the NFL season, I say when the playoffs start.
Yeah, that's what usually.
Or when the bowl games are done, because we could do bowl game picks and stuff during bowl season. But when the bowl games are done, and right when the playoffs start, because maybe when it gets narrowed down, you don't got much games to pick. So if I'm behind and I'm in last place by like 20 points, I can't catch up.
No. That's why you got to do like a double or nothing situation.
Yeah, well, when you get that far behind, that's what they do on a lot of the picks. They'll go for the double or nothing because they need the points. You lose 1 point. If you lose, you don't get a point. But if you win, you get 2 points.
Right.
So that's also going to be another punishment. So there could be a possibility of 2 of us doing punishments. or one of us doing 2
I
punishments.
still owe Jake a punishment from last bowl season because we came down to the last game and it was Michigan Washington, and I said there is absolutely no way he's already picked Michigan. I'm like, there's no way I'll take the punishment. I am taking my team to win the national championship. That's what you do.
And good thing you did.
Yeah,
because either way you would have lost.
Either way.
Team would have lost.
And then you still had to do the punishment.
Right.
So I felt proud to do.
I mean, your team would have won, but you would have done the punishment if you picked the other
I
team.
can feel better about it because my team won.
Right. And you don't have to do it, and you did the punishment.
Yeah, but I haven't done the punishment yet. He hasn't told me when he wants me to do his punishment.
What is the punishment?
The punishment is I got to go out in public in a tutu and make an ass out of myself.
Oh, that shouldn't be too hard.
No, I just got to put a dress on because I can do the other stuff. No problem.
No, a tutu, not a dress.
Not a dress. Not a dress.
Maybe
Maybe spandex.
So that was basically a quick review on our fantasy. We don't want to spend too much topic on that because we have a lot to talk about this week.
Well, especially with college, because
well,
before we went off the air last week, Tennessee went past NC State and everything, but you had
went past. Went past. Meaning, hey, we're gonna take you to the shed and beat you up a couple times while you're dead.
Yep. And they were. Oh man, they're looking like a strong case to be the top team in the SEC. Right under Georgia.
Again, I guess we'll find out more next week, which is on picks as well about NC State and Clemson. So we'll find out a little bit more about NC State. Were they really that good, or were they just overrated? Which, by the way, a lot of college this week. We're going to be talking about rankings and where they rank too high.
Rank too high, or maybe this team should be ranked and this team isn't. You brought up a good point earlier before the podcast is that we have these younger schools. Like we have Air Force playing Baylor right now. We had that on a little bit. It was whatever. Troy was taking Iowa to the limit today.
For the most part.
Until
the end.
So a lot of these teams that are, lower FBS schools are playing these tougher Big 10, not Pac-12, but Big 12 schools, and they're actually staying with these teams till like the third or fourth quarter. So I guess my question to you is, and this, we can kind of bounce around, is it just poor play on the bigger schools part, or these teams are up and coming?
So I got a take on this, and it has to do with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So long gone are the days of I want to play at USC. I'll sit for 3 years. Hey, you know what? Let me go play. Well, I'm gonna bring this up. Cooper DeJean's brother has a chance, and I talked about this in there. Iowa scholarship and UAB. Say he gets no more scholarships. Well, Iowa, he's gonna sit.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Iowa, he'll probably get a little bit more NIL money with Iowa. But if you want to play now, go to UAB, show how good you are at the college level, at any college level in the FBS.
Yep.
You play well there, like you did in high school. You could transfer straight to Iowa, start your second season, your first season in Iowa, your second season in the college football, and then get your NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
So long are the days where I'm going to be a walk-on in Wisconsin, which Wisconsin prides itself on walk-ons. J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, big names. They were all walk-ons,
right? And
they were tight ends, but that's a different issue.
What happened?
Jason Hartwell came back. You guys were talking about punishments earlier.
Sorry,
guys.
That's fine. Mr. Google wasn't here to talk about this.
No, Mr. Google was. Yeah.
But it's a good punishment, so we have to stop this real quick.
Yeah, okay.
I think if Zach finishes last in fantasy football, he eats everything with bananas in it for a week.
Last out of the podcast or last total?
Probably
the podcast, the 3 podcasts.
Well, you know what? Then you still have to decide what they're going to do.
Okay.
Because you can't just put Zach eats bananas, because then I lose without losing. If you landed on it, I would lose.
Yeah.
So we can put that on there, and then if one of us will keep that. If I lose, we'll put that as the punishment for Jay.
Okay.
And then Jason can do yours and do Jake's as well. So that way that one's specific. I like that. We could do specific ones.
Right. We'll do specific ones and we'll write it down. What?
We'll discuss it later. Y'all go ahead.
But yeah, I eat bananas for everything for a week would be
Ooh, man, you'd be skinny.
Yeah,
more skinnier than you are now.
Because you know what?
Still eat banana bread the whole time.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna eat like covered in like I don't know oatmeal or something. I figure something out. Maybe I like protein shakes with banana, and I haven't tried that one yet.
Maybe. Okay.
So yeah, so it goes back to the you don't have to sit and
No.
wait for the college you want to play for anymore,
No.
or come in as a walk on, right?
No, yeah.
Hey, let me go somewhere. Let me transfer because you could play immediately after that. It's not even a weight game anymore. It's I transferred. I don't play my bowl game. Cool. Boom. Next season you're somewhere
Right.
else. So I think that's another thing. They're getting better competition at like Troy and schools that aren't too low on it, but just enough to where they can compete. And then at the same time, they're showing how good they are. And then these players are going to transfer to an Iowa or
Right.
Wisconsin or Ohio State because they're the best on that team. And
Right.
they proved that they were great in that conference.
Well, and piggybacking off that, you see a lot of these players getting drafted in the NFL that are not from the big name schools. Like they're going to schools like South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Townsend was one, Hofstra. Like they're looking at everything college football wise, trying to look for
I live down the road. Sorry.
Well, Wayne Corbett is why I brought that up.
Well, I used to live right down the road from Hofstra, like 5 minutes.
One of the best defensive players, one of the Howie Long went to Villanova. Villanova is not a big name school.
Yeah, I mean, you've
for
got
college
people
football.
like North Dakota State, Carson Wentz. You have Christian Watson. That's what I was trying to say first,
Yeah.
and then Carson Wentz came in my head.
Yeah.
You had these big name people. Trey Lance, I think, was
Trey
no,
Lance was one. I thought
North-
Trey Lance was North Dakota State.
I think he went to North Dakota State. Kaepernick went to Nevada or something like that.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick went to Nevada.
And Love went to Utah State. I mean, that's
Yep.
not even a big name school.
No.
Yeah, you're seeing that also that these with the smaller schools, and I think that's another thing. Let me go to the smaller schools. Maybe they wanted to play there, and they're just showing how good they are. Again, NIL money has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
If you can make you can make $5 million a year to go to Michigan because they have the money, they have the alumni or whatever,
Right.
or you can make 120 grand for 4 years at a smaller school. But hey, you know what? You get to start. You get to make a name
Yep.
for yourself in that school and in that conference. And if you're that good of a player at a Troy or at a Coastal Carolina, they're going to look at you and go, this dude's great. Yeah, he's playing smaller colleges, but he's such a standout that he's winning the games for the team in the conference just on him alone as a running back.
Well, and another thing that I think about is like if they transfer up to these bigger schools, is the scheme fit for that player? Like he can annihilate the competition with Coastal Carolina, but if he goes to a team like a Michigan, Ohio State, Utah, Oklahoma, I know Utah's not a top school. I'm just talking like a school in one of the bigger conferences. Does he fall on his ass like DJU?
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. And that's what I want to bring up when we're talking about college football. We got to bring up Florida State.
Awful start to the season.
Started off ranked number 10. 0-3, just lost to Memphis. Did have a chance to come back and tie it with down by 8.
That was a horrible.
But you
start
shouldn't
to
be
the
in that
season.
predicament, period. I think at halftime he had 70 yards and an interception. I mean, it was not great.
Yeah.
Now, I understand they lost their defense. They lost some receiver and some offensive players, their
Right.
quarterback. But to be ranked 10 means you didn't lose that much on offense, and you gained a good quarterback who did great at Oregon State.
Last year,
So
yeah.
again, maybe the scheme's not right. Maybe the competition you can't say is tougher. I mean, it was Boston College, it's Memphis, and it's Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was ranked, knocked out. Boston College was ranked, they're going to be knocked out because they lost today. But they did pretty good against Missouri.
Yep.
I think they eventually lost by 13, but I mean, they were up. They were
20.
tied. I mean, it was still good.
Close. And
It was closer than the score even said.
yeah, and Memphis is undefeated.
Yeah,
3-0.
they're 3-0. They're probably going to be ranked.
Yeah. Oh,
Only
being
because,
an 0-2 team makes you ranked.
but they were already talking about Memphis being one of those teams that
Yep.
sneak into the playoffs.
Yep.
And I think they've been mentioned in the top 25 vote because all this, votes and stuff like that. And because Boston College lost in some of the 20s or whatever, Arizona got smoked. They're gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
Memphis is probably gonna sneak in.
And then going off of the competition of stuff, we can get back to Florida State. Kansas lost last night, UNLV.
Yeah, and I think they were still ranked at that
And they
point.
were still ranked.
and they just lost to Illinois.
Yep. And they were supposed to be the team that comes out of the Big 12 this year for the playoffs.
And now they don't look like that.
Not at all.
I also believe that like Florida State, okay, DJU, like you said, fit. He's gonna be playing tougher competition with Miami, Clemson, NC State. I mean, Duke, even sometimes UNC. Like the ACC play each other hard.
Yes.
Wake Forest could even upset you here. I think that's what's wrong with the transfer portal as well.
Yeah.
Is you're bringing these people in, new schemes, new this. I think DJ Hughes played for like 4 different schools. I think he was at Clemson at one point.
He was.
And then
He
he
was.
left and then went to Oregon State. Did great at Oregon State, but I think that's why he went to Oregon State. He wasn't doing that great in Clemson. Didn't he
Yeah.
get benched?
Yeah, he got benched for what's his name? The guy that not Cade Klubnik. I think it was somebody else. Maybe it was Cade Klubnik.
But then he comes back to the ACC and he's having a horrible performance.
Well, and I do agree with the reason why he would leave Oregon State is because the Pac-12 was disbanding.
Right, I think that's the main reason.
Yeah,
a lot of these.
So he's like, okay, I got to leave, just because of the fact that I'm not going to be playing for a conference title. There's no way I can get this team into the playoff. We're going to go 5 at best. I'm telling you right now, Oregon State's not the 5th best team in the nation. No. But anyway, I stuttered there a little bit. But he's looking at himself thinking he's going to set himself up for success. Well, where can I go where I can make an impact right away? On paper, before the season started, it looked like a great pickup. His
team looked great.
His team looked great. And like I said, that first game of the season, I didn't put a lot behind it. Overseas, Georgia Tech, back and forth, new quarterback. Okay, maybe they could have, would have, should have, but then they've looked like straight ass since they've been home.
Especially against Boston College, they looked horrible.
They were down 20-3 today to Memphis.
First of all, their fans are wearing the good old bags over the head. Already, I mean, dang, third game in, they're like, but they have the bags over their head, but they're still doing the little tomahawk chop. You can't do both, okay?
No, you can't.
You got the bag in your head. You need to sulk in your sorrow.
It's like a early 2000s Detroit Lions fan look.
Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Indians, I think, did that at one point, or Guardians now.
I think
Saints did it. Like
Chicago White Sox don't do it. They just don't show up.
Yeah, they just have 17 people on a Wednesday. At that point, you just go,
sorry, but I would still
everyone
go
to the stadium, sit right here. You get free seats. Heck, you know what? We'll bring you the hot dogs and the beer all you want because you know what? We're already losing money opening the stadium.
I would still go. I don't care. I would still go to the game. I know this is it's off topic.
But
I would still go to the game because it's not that many
Panthers.
people.
I got to put this up real quick. Did you know a pair of Panthers tickets?
Yeah.
I think the last game of the season last year or whatever,
yeah,
or maybe this year, sold for $1.68. $1.68. This was brought up. I saw a clip on the Pat McAfee show. They said, should they have him sell the team? $1.68.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's what Florida State's doing.
Yep.
They can't sell their team, but they got the bags over their head. I just had to throw that thing out there because we were talking about how bad the attendance are and the fans and stuff. And I just had to throw that. I saw that.
Just drawing comparison to how bad it
Look,
is.
you go to the NFL game for $1.68. You take it. I don't care what you're doing. You
gonna
cancel your plans. You call into work. $1.68. You're playing Bryce Young's contract with that, huh?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
But no, and then so it leads me to the rankings, right?
Yeah.
We just saw Iowa get,
they took
close
care of
to Troy,
business, but it was a lot closer than
right. They might drop a little bit. Oregon dropped when they were ranked, I think 4 in the nation at one point because of how they were playing teams, but they look great today. They actually,
I think they got it figured out. To be honest with you.
These teams being ranked, what makes them think, okay, so DJ is going to be great? That's why I think the transfer, because if you didn't have the transfer portal, where would Florida State be ranked? Probably where they should be, unranked.
Yep.
And they mentioned it on there. Florida State went from controversial, left out of the playoffs, to they haven't won a game since then. Since then.
They've lost 4 in a row. They lost their bowl game to Georgia, which, let's be honest, they were going to beat Georgia regardless if they were full strength or not.
Right.
But this season was supposed to be, okay, we're going to get back there. They were the heavy favorite with Miami coming out of the ACC, and now they don't even look like they can win a game.
I mean, you had Notre Dame lose to Northern Illinois. They took care of business today. They made sure that didn't happen again.
They
but
off the floor with Purdue.
It was 42-0 at halftime. Leave him alone. He dead. What did you say the final score? It was 63 to
look it up on the phone.
And we're like, which brings me to, by the way, this is something
66-7.
This is something new. I never really heard much of. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shortened quarters. Have they done that before?
I've
not often.
Not often.
Even when the scores get ridiculously 83-10, they had a 5-minute quarter. Why even play the fourth quarter at that point? Because in 5 minutes, you might have one possession of the ball for the team winning 83-10, and then one possession for the other one because clearly it's a 3 and out, and the other team's scoring quick.
Well, the only thing that I could see that Clemson did this when they had Deshaun Watson. They were up like 70-10 on some school, and they just did an accelerated clock.
They allowed,
but it was a full quarter accelerated clock. Even
and
if they
by
had
the way,
completion, they still kept running the clock.
if you place your bets on ESPN Bet, DraftKings, and they don't do a full quarter, that bet is null and void. You could be up 83-10. You're winning the over, you're winning the spread. They will not pay you your money.
To be able to catch.
Which somebody, I heard this on the Bobby Bone show. That person called, goes, no, like I covered the spread, or I was going to cover the spread, whatever the reason being, and they gave him the money. But it's like a $20 bet. I think he won like $50. Bobby Bones was like, oh, I should call. Well, Bobby Bones also was going to win probably like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And he had $1,000 bet. So that's a little bit different than a $20 bet. Like, hey, we can give you this. But they say down there that, like, if they don't play full quarters, they don't get the bet. Yeah. So that also hurts the betting. Like, I wouldn't want to bet on some of these games anymore.
Not if it's going to be that
like, I'll bet on a Utah and Oklahoma State, or I'll bet on a Tennessee, North Carolina State, because those are big ranked matches, but you don't want to do horrible matchups in college football.
And I think the only thing that would partake in is like a parlay. Like if you're going to bet, like, okay, I got these 5 or 10 games or however many games you want to pick, then that's going to be your parlay is like, yeah, I'm going to bet UMass, Buffalo. I'm just saying one of games that happened today, Coastal Carolina, Temple. And then my third game will be Notre Dame and Purdue. Well, like you're saying, if Buffalo covers and they just ran the score, they run the quarter down, and I don't get that bet. Well, I knocked on my other 2 games. Why aren't you paying me my third?
Right, exactly. Also, let's go back to LSU and South Carolina.
Game of the day.
Great game.
Game of the day.
Back and forth. LSU pulled it off, but South Carolina still had a chance at the end. I think they missed
field goal.
Missed field goal. I mean, when I say missed the field goal, you could have put a dang armpit hair between the ball and the dang field goal post without it touching. It was that close to hit. It still would have doinked out if it touched, but it was still so close.
Yeah, you don't, and I felt bad for the kicker. I mean, he kicked a really good ball. It just hooked. Now I don't put anything past this game. I think everybody knew this was going to be a sucker punch.
South Carolina's coming back. They're not a pushover like they were like 3-4 years ago.
And LSU is, figuring it out. I wanted LSU to lose today because, I'd like to see another team in the SEC come up just to kind of create controversy, more things to talk about. But no, LSU wanted to be like, no, they're going to miss a field goal. Yeah, like it's scripted. But it was a great game. Game day was there, like in Columbia for the first time in God knows how long. And it was a great atmosphere for a football game. Home team came up short, but this was a classic SEC showdown.
And you said the kicker, right? Hometown.
Yeah,
guy. They mentioned at the end, hometown hero. I'm like, oh man. They said the hometown guy's kicking the game-winning field goal. I'm like, done. They probably just jinxed him. But that's always the jinx.
Kurt. Thank you, Chris Fowler, Kurt Herbstreit for jinxing.
That was definitely Chris Fowler that said not Kurt Herbstreit. But yes, back to South Carolina. They have the oldest person in the history to take a snap running a game. He's like 50-something years old.
When was this? Today?
No, this is a while ago. His son went to college, so he went back to college to finish. I think he had eligibility. He was on the team, and they gave him the ball. He ran for like 4 yards.
Nice.
He literally has. I saw the video. He literally has. I can't remember the name, but he is the oldest person in college football history to play. I think a snap, not just rush the ball, but to play a snap.
Nice.
I guess if you have the eligibility, you could play. That just shows you're never too young to play college football or old.
Never too young, huh?
Never too young. No, because they got 17-year-olds.
Yeah, they have
the dude from LSU.
Yep,
dude is amazing. And then Braylon Allen. Now I know what y'all talk about 17-year-olds. Braylon Allen was a 17-year-old stud out of Wisconsin.
And speaking of Braylon, I don't know we'll bring this up with the NFL, but he was the youngest to carry the ball the other night. 20 years old.
Yeah,
the youngest person ever to carry at 20 years old. There's never been a 20.
This is his first year with
the Jets, out of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And
unfortunately, he's behind a great running back.
Get it figured out. Maybe 1-2 punch, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Anything else? College? Any questions?
So the LSU, the Missouri game was like a 5-point game.
Yep.
Again, Boston College is looking more like a better team than what we thought when they beat Florida State.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just all these rankings and these. I mean, it happens every year, but to get it this wrong is just ridiculous.
Washington State beat Washington today, 24-19.
Oh, did they? I think that's a little bit of an upset.
A little bit.
I know we were watching the ticker on that one.
The ticker
At the bottom. We were watching Washington State to see, because usually Washington's been wiping the floor with them. But they lost their head coach.
So
DeBoer.
Just kind of going over the scores right now. Kentucky's beating Georgia 3-0.
Yep, at the end of the first quarter, I saw that. I was going to bring that
upset
up.
brewing there, maybe. We'll see.
Georgia will figure it out.
Yeah, we thought Florida State would figure it out. So,
all right.
What's up? Go ahead.
Things while y'all were talking. Bailey said, talking about McCaffrey from earlier, said she doesn't think he's going to come back till October 2nd.
Okay.
Doing some research there, huh, babe?
Jason Hartwell said Carl has to go bat cave for a day. Not quite sure what that means.
I don't like bats, so that's going to be the punishment.
I'll go into a bat cave
for a day.
Or you could just stay here and we can find that bat for you.
Yep.
No. There's a bat flying around things.
The last one is Bailey says, I very much enjoy watching Zach eating bananas, considering how much he reacts just to the smell of them. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, this smells bad too.
Smells bad, huh?
It's just everything about bananas. So that brings us into the big board. But yeah, we'll touch on the Christian McCaffrey later with the NFL. So the big board.
Top college football teams from the BCS and college football playoff era.
So I mentioned this earlier, was the Texas versus USC team.
Yep.
I think both of them were great teams. That was a great matchup, right? You had, unfortunately,
that game gives you goosebumps.
And this is what I love about college football. You have legends of college football and do nothing in the NFL. And that was Vince Young. And I think Matt Leinart was the quarterback, wasn't he?
Reggie Bush was the running back.
Yeah, and Reggie Bush was a big name that came out.
Yep.
But Matt Leinart didn't do much. Vince Young did nothing. But in that game, those are legends of college football. Yes. They were great teams. But I think one that I'm putting on there, and you definitely will like this big, Michigan last year, they were trouncing people.
Yep. Never gave up more than 24 points in a game. Defensively, offensively, they just didn't. I mean, they're not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna bring this up. 2019 LSU just putting 50 on you by halftime,
or most of Nick Saban Alabama's.
Yeah. Another team that we mentioned earlier was the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, who had like 4 or 5 NFL Hall of Famers on that team. That was a nuts team.
That wasn't. But
absolute nuts.
You also gonna do the what? 90. The Rock was on that team.
96.
I think it was 90. No, I think it was in WWF, but it was like 90. But didn't they also have he wasn't even like a big, he was good, but didn't they have bigger names that were on that team too?
In the 2001?
No, the one with the Rock.
I don't remember.
That was so far back. That was before, I think.
That was before BCS.
Yes.
Some teams you could throw around there, we even mentioned Georgia was the back-to-back champions.
You could put most of Nick Saban Alabama's on there,
right? What about
Clemson?
Ohio State.
Clemson with Deshaun Watson. No, but we're talking about the good ones. I liked the Clemson that beat the Alabama.
Yep.
Where they
Deshaun
benched,
Watson.
Where they benched. Was that when they benched Deshaun and put in or benched Trevor? No, they benched
Alabama benched Jalen
Hurts. That's what it was. They benched Hurts and put in Tua. The Alabama. See, that was a great Alabama team because you benched your star quarterback and your backup came in and played lights out. That's depth.
Yep.
That is depth. There. I mean, Michigan's got that now. Yep. Your star quarterback's throwing 3 picks. You put in Orgy, and he comes in playing great. You even said he should be the star quarterback.
And the reason I brought up Ohio State was because of 2014. They were the 4 seed going into that inaugural playoff, and they went in and beat a Bama that was number 1. And then they made Marcus Mariota look silly. And
that was a great team, too.
Yeah.
That was a great Oregon team.
3 quarterbacks that year because Braxton Miller goes down. Then they got JT Barrett. Barrett goes down. Cardale Jones is your 3rd string guy, and you still run the table to win the national championship.
And like I said, we didn't mention they had to be winners, just teams. And that Oregon team was great with Mariota, right? That's the one I wanted to bring up because I remember that Oregon team.
I
think that's the team that still gives Oregon a good name.
Yep.
Is that because they still messed up, but they remember that team, right? You got such a good team that they remember that you're always going to be ranked.
Well, and they also lost another national championship years prior to Cam Newton and the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, but that
Cam
I
Newton
don't
was the
think
only reason why Auburn was there, but he had others to help. Don't get me wrong, but Cam Newton literally put the team on his back and went to the national championship and won it.
Like, I mean, I want to mention a team that we agree should never be mentioned in the national championship again, though.
TCU,
Awful. I mean,
Is that what we're talking about,
was
right?
bad too.
Notre
when they
Dame was
played.
bad, but I mean, when
But-
they've made playoff appearances since then, and we go back to TCU in a sec. Sorry, they got better in the playoff on that third try against Bama. I mean, they could have made a couple plays other way. Cincinnati looked better in the playoff than Notre Dame did.
But
Let's be honest about
but that Notre Dame national championship,
Oh, that was awful.
when they went that's horrible.
Yeah.
But they
But-
played a great team.
But TCU said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah. What 3 points? 6? 7.
5 to 7.
It was so bad, right? And the thing is, yes, they beat a great Michigan team, but that was it. You went up against, and to me, it didn't matter if it was. That's why Georgia I think, was one of the better teams. Because
Right.
if Michigan went in there, Georgia would have won.
I think Georgia would have won regardless.
I
agree
think
with
it
you
would have
on
been
that.
a close game. Yes, because
we
I
probably
think
would have put up
Michigan was
35.
clearly this. When they say the better team wins, that was not clear with TCU Michigan.
No.
Because when you get into the national championship, you should not be mentioned in the national championship and score 7, but your opponent scores 60.
It was over by halftime. And I don't know how many times I kept laughing at Herbstreit because he's trying to show, they're only good. They're good. They'll get it figured out. They like to come from behind, and Georgia's like, no, he ain't.
No one's coming from behind.
There was plays in that game to where I'm watching, and they're doing a play action rollout, and Stetson Bennett hits the tight end, who is wide freaking open,
Which is Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, yes, and. Like, how do you leave a guy like that wide open? How's there nobody covering that?
That was the
guy?
battle of the old quarterbacks, right? That's the Bennett and Max Dugan, the freaking college for 20 years.
And I'm not taking away what TCU did up until that point. They
had a great season, especially at the end. They came on at the end.
And I wanted more out of that. I really wanted to pick TCU for that game. I just knew Georgia was just going to be a little too much for them. 2 possession.
Georgia was better.
Georgia was, well, clearly you lose by 56 or no 58, was it? No, so what is 65 minus 7? I don't know what it is. 58, yeah, in the national
You
championship.
say the score, I get the math.
Okay, that's fine. But I forgot what I was going to say.
So
Because I'm not laughing at the TCU loss. It was just
Kirk Herbstreit.
It was Kirk Herbstreit, and sorry. But the game prior to that, Georgia was down by 14 against Ohio State. Comes back and wins. The potential game-winning field goal by Ohio State. Shanks way over into Egypt, and he's trying to it doesn't even have a good rotation. The ball's going like this.
Went to Egypt, so was Cairo Santos the kicker?
Well, Manti Te'o's girlfriend was over there, maybe. Oh, see what I did there about 2012 Notre Dame? So I don't
Fake
know.
girlfriend.
And both of those games were good. That's why I'm left with a sour taste of the national championship, because it was finally where we had 2 semifinal games that came down to the wire, and we're thinking, okay, this national championship is going to be great, and it freaking sucked.
I don't think, and I'm just gonna be my last point on the big board, right?
And we'll move on.
For my take,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone went into that game thinking it was gonna be a blowout.
No,
Not one. I don't think Georgia fans, nobody thought it was going to be a blowout.
and I do believe this. Kirby Smart had them boys practicing like, you guys almost got beat. You need to get your shit together and win this national championship, or else we're not going to win, because TCU has heart.
Okay.
And they had a lot of heart that year. They came back against 4 ranked teams down by multiple scores and won. And they were a 4th down away from winning the Big 12 that year against Kansas State, which was their first loss. So going into that game,
they still made the playoffs.
And they still made
with
the
one
playoffs.
loss as a K-State. That's nice.
But that was their only loss because they had so many wins against ranked teams that year.
Right.
And that's why they got into the playoff and played Michigan and all that. Everybody was expecting Georgia, Michigan. And, we may never know. Well, I don't want to talk about the first performance with Georgia, Michigan, because we got blown out in the Orange Bowl. But it's just, throwing around these teams. And, and I think this is what's going to make this 12-team playoff even better, because we don't know if, we we assume that the 12 seeds may not win the national championship, but we don't know that.
Memphis could be a 12 seed. They supposedly they beat the number 10 in the nation in preseason, so they must be good. Or Florida State's that bad.
I don't know. I think a lot of people thought the records could be reversed. Like Memphis be 0-3, Florida State be 3-0, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, we'll never know Florida State this year. Well, we know, but
we know who they are.
Yeah, we know they are who we thought they are.
Dennis Green. I love it.
So next topic though, Tua and DeMar. Let's bring up the Tua Tagovailoa situation. And see what see what your opinion is on that. So as we all know, DeMar Hamlin started.
He's been starting.
He had 10 tackles that game.
He had a lot. He's been playing very well. We can talk a little DeMar because we were trying to give him some love last week and we just forgot about it, and that happens. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde no longer with the Bills, so he got brought up to start. Before the whole cardiac thing happened, he was like the third string corner, backup safety. So
and last year he wasn't a starter.
No, he played
so
maybe 5 games.
And it sucks because he, people are like, oh, comeback player of the year because he died and came back, but you have to play.
You have to play. He could win it this year.
He should win it this year because you still should be in that because now you're a star.
Yep.
But yeah, he got involved into a hit with a scary situation. Luckily, it wasn't him this time. Yeah. He got up and walked away fine. So that's good news.
Well, and it wasn't even him because he was trying to hold Tua.
Well, the thing is, people talk about the tackle when he's involved and this, but and you guys saw me, Mr. Google, Jake, everyone saw what I said. It was an absolute dumb move, in my opinion, by Tua.
Yes.
I don't care if you're going down for the dive. You don't put your head forward.
No.
You don't want the tacklers to do that to you. You shouldn't do that to anybody.
Right. And this is why, I was going to bring this up is he had that hip injury in college. Now, is he afraid to slide?
He might.
Because of the hip.
He might, and that's fine, but then you just got to take the hit.
Take the hit or run out of bounds.
Yeah, you or jump forward or something because DeMar was already going for the tackle.
Yeah,
and luckily it wasn't called for helmet to helmet or anything bad. So that he hit his chest.
It was nowhere near.
But the way his head hit, he turned it. But this leads me to this with Tua, going with 4 concussions last year, 3 concussions. That game where they put him in 6 times, he got concussions 5 of the times.
He had
because they were under scrutiny
in a matter of 4 days.
Right, because they go, oh, he's cleared. Addy had a concussion, went back into that game not looking good. They had to pull him out again.
And they said it was a back injury.
They're like, oh, back injury.
No, you don't fall to your ass. Sorry. You don't fall to your butt when you've got a back
injury. Yeah, that's the game that everyone criticized the Dolphins. Yep. Rightfully so. I mean, they put him back in there while he clearly had a concussion and then had to pull him out again. And then the next week cleared it again during the week. And then the next week, I think it was,
he had another one.
And now he's got another one. Well, do you think this is good? Well, we don't know, but do you think he's going to have to be forced into an early retirement like an Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck was different. He retired because he kept taking hits, not because of so many brain injuries and stuff. Right. He wanted to retire on his own terms. But do you think this is going to lead into Tua not being able to play football sooner than later?
He contemplated retirement during those concussions, and it's going to get brought up again. I think with his family because he's got to think long-term health. I know there's been a lot of NFL people like Antonio Pierce, head coach of the Raiders, that said, "Hey, you got to look out for yourself. You got a family. You need to really think about this." He's out indefinitely. I don't know how indefinite that will be. I don't think he's back next week, but we don't know if he's going to be back the rest of the season or not. But moving forward, everybody's going to criticize Miami for giving him all this money. Well, they believe in this quarterback. They didn't want this to happen. They don't want him to have another concussion.
Yeah, this brings up Mr. Google's
quarterback. Yeah, this is Mr. Google's
which he had Tua. He wasn't doing good in the game to begin with.
No, he threw 2 or 3 interceptions in that game already.
And the one before that was Joe Burrow, Mr. Slim Shady dye his hair. Ooh, ghost. Slim Shady dye his hair. Please sit back down. Joe Burrow looked horrible, but yeah, Tua was his quarterback. So, by the way, let's just say if Mr. Google picks up your quarterback, it's not gonna be a good game for you guys.
No.
But yeah,
we'll go into his rest of his team later. But I think he has to retire. Like,
Do you think he retires this year?
I think he retires now.
Because did they? I don't think they signed him to an.
They gave him an extension before the season.
Yeah, but how long was it again?
I think it was like 4,262.
Guaranteed how much?
I don't know how much it was.
Because I would, and you know what? I understand what you're doing. You're securing your future, but I don't know if I would have done 4 because the concussions last year, right?
Yeah.
If he was contemplating retirement, you know he talked to the team.
Yep.
So maybe they gave him the guaranteed money, a lot of guaranteed money. So that way, if he does retire and get these concussions, they're doing right by him. If I'm him, I don't care about the money, right? If my guaranteed million was 30 mil, I'm taking the 30 mil and walking away. If this is that bad, and again, I said it was a stupid way, but still, it doesn't matter how he did it. It happened. And the fact that you get so much in so little time, I think I look out for my safety. Yep. I take the money. You made more than enough money. You went to college. Go do something else. Go be a broadcaster. You can go do something else. You're young enough.
Yep. He's still in his late 20s.
Yeah.
So, and what happened? Oh, the thing. Yeah. So what sucks about it is now that Miami has finally found that guy, and now the potential of maybe starting over again.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to draft somebody if someone good's available. I'm not saying go draft Shador Sanders because he's gonna be great. We need a quarterback.
Don't tank for Beck. No, it's Carson Beck.
I mean, I don't believe. I'm a big guy in what Ben Maller does on Fox Sports Radio. Says F them picks because you don't know how those picks are gonna be.
Yeah.
Look at number 1 overall and number 2, Marcus Mariota and Carson Wentz. So great. Look at that.
Well, Baker
Mayfield's so great. Jameis Winston.
Mayfield's doing good now.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yes.
All right. Jamarcus Russell.
Bryce Young is the new Jamarcus Russell.
You got
maybe
Johnny Manziel. Like, you have these people, you don't know how they're going to be for quarterback. You can guarantee not guarantee, but you're more guaranteed that a running back drafted that high or a receiver drafted that high or a lineman or any other position, but quarterback, you don't know how they're going to be. So tanking for a pick is to me, F them picks.
Well, and what really sucks about it is Miami's kind of in that window of they have to kind of win now because they got to start making these decisions on other players because they locked up Tyreek Hill, which we'll talk about his day later. Jalen Waddle, all these other guys that, potentially could get that big money. Well, now that they give it to Tua, they are in a win now because these guys are going to leave in free agency and go where the money's at.
Exactly.
And, I don't even – the thing about that really bothered me is they let Xavier Howard go, and he was a picks leader a couple of seasons ago, but it was all about, they didn't want to give him the money, but then they give it to somebody like Tua. I know that concussions, he didn't have any, it wasn't his fault, but got a guy that's actually staying healthy and playing, but you gave it to somebody that's injury prone. That's my point. And
gotta win with the quarterbacks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get a Dan Marino clone down there. I don't know. You never know. Could happen.
Could.
But Skylar Thompson is the
starter. Laces out.
Skylar Thompson is the starter for Miami as of right now. There's been talk of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Skylar who?
Who? No relation.
Okay.
But there's talk of Jimmy G could get traded. So we'll do the plug.
So now we're gonna do the plug real quick. So we are sponsored. Like always, B&L Creative Designs for all your woodworking jewelry need. And if both notice, we are wearing t-shirts today, volleyball dad shirts for daughters, stepdaughters, but they make shirts as well. Great products, great everything. They also made these lanterns. They got lights inside of them. They got interchangeable for so you can Halloween, you can have New Year's maybe, do some 4th of July, hot dogs, whatever you want.
A hot dog.
They can do anything on there for you. If you want just a random cat, they can do whatever, but they're interchangeable. Great woodworking. I don't know the price. I think they're
these are look like $15. Yeah.
$15, but they also do cutting boards, prayer bracelets, rosary bracelets. Again, B&L Creative Design on Facebook, or go to their Etsy page, BL Creative Design Shop.
Nice.
Check them out. I know one week we actually sold something live. So if
Yeah,
anyone's
we
out
did.
there wants something, hey,
Go ahead.
they'll ship it for you at extra. I think it's $10 for
Five to
shipping.
ship?
Extra
to ship.
$5 to ship. So these would be $20 if they have to ship. 15 if you come here and buy them, or
Right.
we deliver. I could deliver it for Portillo's for any of my Illinois friends.
There you go.
Anything within 50 miles, they will deliver for free. And if you got to go to Illinois, Portillo's for me. So
I just got a message. Dolphins take Cam Ward in the draft.
Miami to Miami.
There
Why
you
not?
go.
I mean, hey, they might get the pick. They
Yeah.
might get the, and I wouldn't be mad at that pick.
No, I wouldn't be either.
But the thing is, if Tua's not retiring, do they go quarterback? Because you paid that money in that, and you could probably use the draft pick for something else.
Right.
That's a decision that they're gonna have to make at the end of the season. I wouldn't be mad if they took a quarterback because of the injury thing, but at the same time, if you're that high of a draft pick because your quarterback was injured, you have the opportunity to trade back and get more picks. I know I said that them picks, but you get more capital for other stuff you need around the team than a quarterback. Because someone who's going to really need a quarterback will trade up one spot and give you enough draft capital to try out. Okay, we need a lineman. You could pick 3 linemen that year, and one of them's got to work out. Hopefully.
Right. Well, and that brings up like the whole Panthers and Bears last year when they traded the one to get Bryce Young. Bears got all this other stuff in the meantime, which I think was smart because they didn't go with Bryce Young. You know, they stuck with Fields, ended up realizing that Carolina really did suck last year. They ended up getting their guy this year. So they made out pretty damn well.
Maybe.
I
mean, one game, but it didn't look good for him. They won, but not because of him.
Which brings us to the NFL.
Which brings us to the NFL is our next topic. So, yeah, Caleb Williams. He's my quarterback on my bench. I'm a Packer fan, but I do have him as my quarterback on my team because of looks like a great team on paper.
Yep.
And that defense won them the game and special teams.
That was a typical Chicago.
I mean, it was
victory.
Tennessee's fault. They gave the game away, but a win's a win in the league.
Yep.
Caleb Williams looked okay. He didn't throw an interception, so that's a plus, but he only threw for like 90 yards. So maybe 65. But it was it's growing pains.
Yep.
That offensive line is still atrocious.
Yeah.
So they need to do a little bit better at that. But what he was doing was what good mobile quarterbacks will do. And why he's running away, he's still looking to throw, looking to run. And that's stuff you can't teach. I know I mentioned that's what they said in the preseason, but when I saw that game, he was still eyes downfield.
Yeah.
Now, some of the plays he did run because no one was open, but some of the plays he did throw.
Yeah.
So he protected the ball. They won the game.
That's all you asked for.
That's a good win.
That's the only thing that matters.
Better than my team, the Packers. They didn't win the game, and they lost Jordan Love.
Yep, exactly.
And I think Jalen Reed's questionable.
Tomorrow,
like so many people got hurt, and you still lost the game. Yeah. At least if you won the game, it feels a little bit better.
Right.
Let's go talk about the Dolphins Bills. We talked about that. Bills destroyed them. Bills looked good the game before Tua got hurt. But let's talk about real quick about the Jets and 49ers.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about that. And that was one of the, well, we were texting back and forth during the game. What did you see? I
saw Aaron Rodgers losing a step, like running, being able to be mobile. That could be this Achilles, age, everything.
Yeah.
Drop passes by Lazard. Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in his hand. I mean, Rodgers threw it till we dropped it. Rodgers even kind of commented. He's like, oh, Lazard, the play's good, but we should have had a first down on that first drive because it was right in Lazard's hands. 49ers look great. You got a backup running back who did that. I don't care. I don't care how the Jets is a good defense, and he ran all over them. And I think because he did that, let them put McCaffrey at IR. Hey, we can heal McCaffrey 100% because we have a guy we can trust in the backfield.
Yep.
If he played horrible and they lost the game and he only got like 50 yards, McCaffrey would be playing.
I think so.
Because I think they're trying to do the long game for him, keep him healthy in the playoffs when you need him.
Yeah.
But yeah, 49ers look good. Brandon Ayuk, some drop passes. We talked about how Peyton Manning was like, that's why you go to training camp, whether you're holding out or not.
Made Bill Belichick laugh, which is tough to do.
People call Brock Purdy a system quarterback, but this dude's dropping dimes. He's putting it where it needs to be.
Yep.
That's not a system.
Mm-mm.
Because you could have a system quarterback and they're going to throw to the area of somebody. This dude is placing it where he needs to be.
Didn't make any mistakes. There was maybe he started off a little slow, but it wasn't
Week,
that first
week,
drive after that.
Week 1 for him. I mean, it's week 1.
It's 8 scoring drives to end the game. I don't count the end of the game where they took a knee. That's not a possession to me. Sorry. That's like an end of the half possession.
No, you take a knee, it's okay, it's a possession, but nothing's going on.
Yeah. You're icing the ball. For me, I took two sides of it. I agree with you 100%. 49ers just picked up right where they left off a lot with Kansas City because Kansas City, them two were in the Super Bowl last year. So Kansas City, San Francisco, it's their conference until somebody says otherwise. I know Dallas may have something to say about that, but we'll get into that game
until it gets to the playoff, and then they're like, we don't have anything to say.
So I seen some good signs out of the Jets. Like defensively, okay, you know what? They got sliced and diced. Kyle Shanahan is good at scheming. He knows how to get.
He's a good coach. He's a great coach.
Offensive court, he's going to do what he needs to.
But it's not like that. It's not like that defense is playing like
they weren't playing
a
like
Giants or a horrible team. You're playing a great team.
A team that was,
so you can't
seconds away from winning a Super Bowl.
I don't take anything away from that defense except that they lost and they allowed. San Francisco is just that good. Again, you're covering Deebo Samuel, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Like you're covering a lot of people, so you don't got that many stars on your defense to cover everybody.
And the problem that I had with Buck and Aikman did the game. Everybody's got their own take on that. They were expecting more out of the Jets. What do you expect out of a 4-year-old who hasn't played a full game since the end of the 2022 season?
Right,
off an Achilles injury,
not
which
only
could have ended his career.
Game, he probably threw like a pass in that.
I don't even
think
he
got
threw a
hurt.
pass last year. I think it was all handoffs.
I mean,
and he only played four plays last year, and he was done for the year.
You know what happened on the 4th play this week with the Jets? Fumble.
Okay.
I think the running back or whoever fumbled the ball, and San Francisco scored later in that drive. So the 4th play for the Jets last year, season ending. 4th play for the Jets this year, horrible mistake.
Yeah. Just fourth play. Might have been Vinny Testaverde back in '99 where he tore his Achilles then. I don't know. On a very bad Giant Stadium field, artificial turf, I think.
And then you had so final take for you said you saw that the Jets.
I can see the Jets getting it figured out and making the playoffs. Maybe not division winner, but a wild card.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's taking that division.
I think so too. Now with
two will hurt and Patriots, they won, but they're the Patriots now. That great defense. Don't know what we're doing on offense. Good running game, but we don't know what we're doing on offense.
And they played a Cincinnati team, and I know we've had people comment about talking about the Bengals, and there's probably a reason for that because they look like absolute dog crap on Sunday.
With Jamar Chase, I didn't know he was in. I remember them saying something about illness or whatever, but he did play. He just wasn't a factor.
No.
And T. Higgins and
T. Higgins is out.
Yeah,
running back. I mean, you had new pieces, but Burrow's still the quarterback.
Yes, so Burrow's looking more like a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Monday night or Sunday night game though, a great Rams Detroit, great Rams Detroit. I think that was even better than the Monday night or not the Monday night game, but
Thursday night or Friday night.
Friday night was a good game. Packers, yeah, the Ravens and Chiefs. That was a great game, but I think that Sunday night game was better.
Well,
in my opinion,
Lions won,
and yet. Same rules, right? Stafford couldn't touch the ball at the end.
Yeah,
but no, it was so good. I mean,
in Detroit to make it all that better, I guess, right?
I think Goff has won. I don't think
Stafford's won at home, but he hasn't won in Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's won in Detroit. I think Goff's won every time they played in Detroit.
But he's 0-1 in the SoFi Stadium is where they play.
Yeah,
in the Rams, because they had that matchup this first year and they beat Detroit. That's when they went to the Super Bowl. But then since then he's lost to Detroit. But all the matchups since then have been in Detroit.
I mean, Detroit's just got a great team. You got Porta, you got Amon St. Brown, you got a great defense. Hutchinson had some great plays.
And Puka Nacua is hurt, but it's not as serious as we thought. They look like a season ender.
But I mean, now you got Puka Nacua, who I got Cooper Kupp in my fantasy, and it looks like he's going to be taking a step back because Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
But you got him. You got Puka Nacua. You got a great run game. You got a decent tight end. Like, you're becoming that San Francisco team where you
Mhm.
got two options, great options at receiver. You got a good tight end. You got a good running game. Like you got a great defense. Yeah, you're figuring it out without Aaron Darnold, but I think they did. Aaron Donald, not
Yeah,
Darnold. I think they're figuring it out.
yeah, and I don't put anything past this game as far as defense is concerned because you're going up against great offenses, kind of like we were talking about.
But
with
the
Jets
defense, both
earlier.
defenses, as crazy as it sounds, still made plays.
Yeah, they did.
It could have been a way worse game, or a
Goff threw
high
200
scoring game.
Goff threw 2 interceptions. Like Rams were playing D. It's just things happen, and you get involved in it. And I think these two teams will meet again in the playoffs.
And they both got good kickers.
Yep. So mirror images of each other, pretty much.
Yeah. So now speaking on that, the
Do we-
Dolphins and everything.
Do we want to talk about the Cowboys real quick? Go to Mr. Google.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Let's talk
giving
about
me
the Cowboys.
Give me a weird eye over there.
How Ferguson's hurt.
Ferguson?
Yeah.
That's what you're mad about? is
Yeah,
Ferguson?
because he's on my fantasy team.
Oh,
Not my backup, Dalton Schultz in our league. There's no one real tight ends. No, Cowboys look great, but I think it says more about the Browns. They looked awful.
on both sides of the ball.
Everything.
Defense wasn't terribly bad.
What was the final score?
37
7-10?
37-10.
Yeah. So defense wasn't terrible.
They just gave up a special teams touchdown. That's not on the defense.
Okay, 30-10.
It was 33-10.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
33-10. Okay, so it's still you take the 7 points away from
Yeah,
that.
and-
It's still bad.
No, yeah,
still
well,
bad.
But like a lot
But
of that.
Deshaun looked horrible. Amari, I mean, he was overthrowing like Amari Cooper, and Cooper would be open a little bit.
Yep.
But I bet you Dallas fans are great to have Diggs back.
Yep.
With Micah. So
Mhm.
you got that great defense back.
And you're gonna get Deron Bland healthy later in the year, and that rightfully so. They went on IR because then you can get him back 100%, which I like. This new
Dak
IR
was still
stuff.
having some throwing pains.
Yeah, every
Overthrowing.
quarterback. There was only 2 quarterbacks that went over 200 yards last week.
He still had throwing pains and overthrowing and stuff, but CeeDee Lamb looked a little bit better than he did in that playoff game.
Yeah.
He didn't drop as much passes.
The thing that impressed me was the offensive line. They had 2 rookies starting, and they only gave up 1 sack against a Browns defense that a lot of people thought was one of the best in the league.
Right. Yeah.
Our good guy Zadarius Smith is with them still.
Yeah. I mean the Browns didn't play. Yeah, Zadarius Smith is with them. He was,
Devondre Campbell's with San Francisco, so I kind of like rooting for ex-Packer players a little bit.
but I mean, yeah, I think you mentioned it best. Deshaun and who else go to the UFL next year?
Daniel Jones.
Oh my gosh, that guy's not even make the UFL. I still don't know how that dude. Look, Giants, you need a quarterback. I'll take half his money. Hell, I'll take $1 million a year to go play for you guys. And I can't do any worse. I mean, I won't be able to run as fast as him sometimes, but he don't
Right.
even get time to run. Okay.
It's sustained success on the other side. Sam Darnold looked good.
Yes,
he looked
Sam
great.
Darnold does not see ghosts anymore. He's like,
No.
see, it wasn't me. I saw a clip where the guy's like,
It
see, it
wasn't-
wasn't me. It was the Jets. I don't see ghosts anymore. It must have been MetLife or something like.
He was playing in MetLife Stadium in that game.
But you saw it was that
Yeah.
guy on Facebook or whatever, and he's like,
was it me?
he's like, it's like week 1 quarterbacks. He's like, I played good, didn't I? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah. I guess it was the Jets and not me. Didn't see no ghosts. I just saw Justin Jefferson. I was like, he's got to be there somewhere.
Well, and you mentioned it on previous episodes. Him going to San Francisco probably did wonders for him.
Well, I think, and I don't think it was because he's behind Brock Purdy, because I think Kyle Shanahan and whatever you're
Yeah.
learning in practice.
Brian
But I
Green-
think more it's that time to step back and get a fresh look on everything because you're not starting. So you're looking how Brock Purdy sees things. You're watching Kyle Shanahan and the offensive coordinators and whoever scheme up and work with the quarterback's
Right.
coach
Right, I'm gonna burp like
with your positions. So, I mean, he's not throwing in practice if he gets reps to Brandon Ayuk and them. So he's not throwing with the first team. He might get a little first team reps just in case. But the thing is, like, you're not got the pressure of starting. You're sitting back and able to focus more. You're able to learn. You're able to watch film. And I think that helped him.
Yeah,
And then you go to Minnesota where you have I don't think he didn't play, but you're gonna have a Hawkinson. You have Aaron Jones who can help run. I mean, when he was with the Jets, you didn't have the run game you do now
No.
because they didn't have Hall.
Mm-mm.
You got Aaron Jones who could catch the ball in the backfield. You got Justin Jefferson,
Addison, when he's healthy.
Addison when he's out. Like you got people who's gonna help him. The Jets when he was with the Jets, they was not the team that even Zach Wilson had last year.
Mm-mm.
So it's not like this dude had a great team around him.
Right.
So now he's got some weapons, and you know what? Maybe a little bit more protection. Maybe it's definitely gonna look good for him going forward for another job because it's JJ's team. It's JJ. It's
JJ McCarthy. Yeah.
I say that, but I mean I have to say McCarthy because when you say JJ, you think Justin Jefferson
Or JJ Watt.
but
I know
it's McCarthy's team.
Yeah.
Going forward, they drafted him. That's his team.
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold's easily putting in a good resume for maybe a Seattle because Geno Smith eventually is going to be done. Maybe you're putting it in for
Las Vegas.
a Giants team because they got him.
No, don't go back to MetLife. Don't go back to MetLife.
Oh yeah, don't go back. I mean, I want to go back to the Giants. Period. I'd be like, look, I'd rather be unemployed than go back to the Giants. I mean, they're just awful.
Right.
But yeah, you said it. The Raiders. I mean, Gardner Minshew. Yeah, he's a great backup.
Yeah.
He's a great backup. We want to talk about great backups. Fitzpatrick, right?
I mean, that was my guy. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic.
All right, like
win 7 games, lose the last 8, and throw 3 picks in the last
Matt
game.
Flynn, who never really got a starting job,
No.
because once he went there, they drafted Russell Wilson and he lost it. And then he went to the Raiders and lost it too without even starting.
And then he went back to Green Bay and helped him get back.
Right, because he was a good backup. That's what I see Gardner Minshew. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of teams. Bo Nix played. He did okay.
He did okay. And that was a good game. I mean, limit the turnovers. I think Denver may win that game. Geno Smith came out a little bit fiery and everything. That was a good game. Just overall good game. Like I said, Bo Nix limits the turnovers. He'll be a good quarterback. I think Sean Payton's got his guy.
No one here thought Bo Nix was going to light it on fire and not make mistakes, though.
No. We all think that these rookies are gonna have their growing pains. Jade Daniels was one of the guys that people thought, he looked good, but he had his mistakes. Every quarterback has those mistakes. The guy I want to talk about is Baker. He threw 4 touchdowns in midseason form. Mike Evans, Bucks look like they're may take the NFC South.
Who do they beat?
The Commanders.
That's right.
Jade Daniels looked good too, but they're just so far behind.
I think moving again. People say this, and sometimes it's true. A change of scenery is what you need. Baker's been doing pretty good in Tampa, but again, you have a team that's not changing coaches all the time like Cleveland is, and changing coordinators, and let me move all these roster pieces. You're keeping the same receivers, the same offensive line, maybe a little bit different here and there, but Cleveland's problem is they showed it with NFL Fox because Tom Brady could have been drafted by them, right?
Yeah.
Since Tom Brady's like 38 quarterbacks, in Cleveland starting, that's why you can't win in Cleveland because you get, and then when you finally find stability at quarterback and decide, oh, maybe we should do it this way, you settle with Deshaun Watson, who's not playing very well.
No,
but you had Baker Mayfield who could have done more for you. You had a Johnny Manziel, but he did his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baker, I didn't think was bad in Cleveland. He just wasn't winning. Either. But you fire the coaches, you fire this, you fire that. So then he has to restart learning everything. Then you're unloading his weapons to get new weapons because maybe that's the problem. Well, how about you let him grow with the team he has? And that's what Tampa Bay's doing. He
came into a very good situation because of Brady retiring. But you got to do something with the weaponry around you. Like I could, it's like I can lead you into war with all these weapons. You got to figure out what to do with
them. You could go to the what was it, the 07 Patriots, 08 Patriots, the one that went undefeated. You can go play quarterback and you ain't gonna win.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But you got to know what to do with him. And he has a great friendship and relationship with Mike Evans. He has that with Godwin. He has that with his offensive line.
Is that with the tight end?
I don't know. He probably does.
It's Braid, right? Is he still?
I think it's Braid. It's not OJ Howard. OJ Howard's like 2018.
But it's not Gronk.
No, but he has that with the team. He is a player. He is a, what do you want to call it? Not a player's coach. He's one of the best friends on the team. Like he wants to get along with everybody on the team. Like those are his guys. That's who he's going to battle with every Sunday. So they want to play for him. he's going out and running and getting first downs. I know Brady didn't do that. I know he brought a Super Bowl to Tampa, but he brings another element to the offense. He can scramble and move out of the pocket if he has to.
Exactly.
So they're wanting to play for him. Evan said if they don't re-sign Baker Mayfield, he doesn't stay in Tampa. He may have went to Houston.
Yeah.
So that shows you a lot right there.
Now another team, real quick, while we talk about the NFL, then we move on. The Falcons with the Kirk Cousins.
That was a typical Pittsburgh Steeler win.
Right. Defense. It was defense.
6 field goals, and the kicker actually punted the ball because the punter tore his ACL on one play.
Yeah.
Which, rest his soul out for the year. But
rest his soul, he dead now.
Well, I mean, get well soon. Whatever.
Bless his soul, maybe.
Bless his soul.
But no, yeah, I mean, Falcons didn't look good with it. Everyone's talking about Kirk Cousins came in and they're gonna win the division, no doubt. But the Saints played great. I mean, they were playing the Panthers. Let's put that out there. They were playing the Panthers.
Saints play Dallas tomorrow, so we'll see where they're at.
Right, because the Panthers, garbage. They might get number 1 pick again. Garbage. Bryce Young, sorry. You don't do anything this year. I don't care. And I understand I just talked about not putting pieces around him, but you got to move on or you got to start drafting pieces around him this year. Right. If he doesn't perform this year, you can still have him for 2 more years. I don't think there's that many great quarterbacks. Trade back a little bit. Go get some receivers. Go get some offensive line. Go get stuff for him. Because as you can see, the Bears finally did it and put stuff around Caleb Williams to where they might actually win.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you can only do with what the weapons you got around you. To find out about Bryce Young, you got to get him protection. To find out about Bryce Young, you got to get him weapons. You got to get him a running game.
Because he just doesn't look like the same guy he was in college.
But you know what side of the ball he doesn't play?
Defense.
Yeah, atrocious.
They were awful. Very
bad.
awful.
And that's what I'm more going. They look like garbage. That defense is just bad.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you got the Saints who are going to contend. You're going to in that division at least, right? I'm not talking they're going to stomp the world, be number 1 overall.
No.
But they're going to contend in that division. You got the Buccaneers. The Falcons are supposed to be up there. They still can.
They still can.
But Kirk Cousins doing Kirk Cousins things.
Through 2 picks.
He doesn't have Justin Jefferson now.
No.
So you don't have that big
He
guy.
has a Darnell Mooney down there. I mean, he's not a number 1, but he's a good solid.
But you don't have a Justin Jefferson, a TJ Hawkinson, a good running game, a Addison. You don't have the weapons you had.
Yeah. So it's just for me, for the Atlanta Falcons, I picked them as a surprise Super Bowl contender.
Not looking like it now, huh?
Well, it's only 1 week. But, there's just so much hype going around this. But you ain't talking about Justin Fields gets his win as a starter as Pittsburgh.
Hey,
and
you know
Atlanta
why?
Should have took him.
You know why? Because we're talking about that defense.
Yes. And he did just enough to win, a lot like his replacement in Chicago.
That's what he did in Chicago too when he won. Like he did just enough to win.
Yeah.
I never thought he was a bad quarterback.
No.
I think the Bears did what 99% of the NFL would do besides Kansas City, maybe the Packers, but Kansas City, San Francisco, because they went to the Super Bowl. You have that number 1 overall pick. It's going to be Caleb Williams, the generational talent. You know, it's maybe not 99%, but you're not sure of your quarterback position.
Right.
Get the younger guy. Get the cheaper guy, because even though Fields isn't that great, you see Daniel Jones making $45 million a year. Yeah. You're going to get $45 million a year at the least.
And mentioning that, our good Mr. Google, who got paid last Sunday? He doesn't like it.
Dak Prescott.
He doesn't like it at all.
And the money he matched, by the way, we're trying to figure out the guaranteed money, was Mr. Massage Watson. Had $230 million. Contract, $230 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed.
Hey man, I need that man as an agent, man. I need his.
So Dak's like, I want $1 more million than him guaranteed.
Right.
But his value is $60 million a year. Brock Purdy's won more playoff games than Dak Prescott.
Brock Purdy's gonna get paid too.
Yeah, look, if I'm the 49ers, I'm paying him now before the price gets higher.
You have to. You might. You just have to.
Because by the time he gets paid, it's gonna be $70 million a year. Get him for 63 right now, okay?
A lot of people think Brock Purdy might give him the hometown discount so he can get players around him.
And who do you think he learned that from?
Tom Brady.
Exactly. That's why Tom Brady, I think, when people say go greatest of all time, that's the one thing I bring up with Tom Brady. It's not what he did on the field. It's, hey, pay the guys around me. That's how we're gonna win.
Yep. I know what I can
That's
do.
just smart. You want to win? He's like, pay people around me, get me the talent, keep giving me the talent, and we'll keep winning. Because
Yep.
if you come into this organization going, oh, I got Tom, or if you come in a season go, oh, we got Tom Brady, we don't need to pay all these receivers or keep them here.
You
then
gone.
you start losing.
Yeah. Then you gone. Yep.
So real quick, we want to kind of like shift to Tyreek Hill here.
Yeah, we have to.
I
This
think
is its own topic right
I
here.
think we're trying to not mention this, but we have to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like earlier today,
We
you
watched
saw
it.
a little bit earlier. Well, so we kind of have we didn't watch the full 27 minutes. We watched
This is the body cam video.
this is the beginning of it because most of that video was just like it showed different body cams, but of the same thing. So
let's let them know what we're talking about too.
when he got pulled over before
Mhm.
the game, the first game.
Yep.
So he got pulled over on the way to the stadium. It was for speeding. The cop came up to the door and knocked on the window, like all cops knock on a window. It's not like he was pounding and about to break the glass.
No.
He just knocked, and then Tyreek Hill rolled down the window, goes, "Why are you knocking my window like that for? Why are you not?" And just kept repeating it.
Right.
And then the cop was like, "Well, why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why are you knocking my window like that? Why are you knocking my window like that?" And eventually pulled him for speeding. Well, then the cop turned away or something, and Tyreek rolled the window back up.
Yeah.
And then he was told, roll down the window. What for? About kind of get smart. And then got pulled out of the car.
Don't you know who I am? That kind of thing. Right?
Got pulled out of the car. And then he got taken down and put in handcuffs. At that point, he was being, more detained than arrested. Then it became arrest, but
Yeah.
detained, right? Because they're going to detain you now. You're not cooperating. You're not complying with the orders. I'm not going to go over what Tyreek Hill said yet. We're just going over the body cam. So anyone that wants to comment on what he said, that's fine. But we're going to go over the body cam, what we saw. And then he got taken over. And now when he got taken down to the ground, handcuffs, he got taken over the curb. He's like, oh, don't push me down. I just had knee surgery. Well, why didn't you mention that before he got taken out of the car? And I mean, if you're a football fan in that area, you would know and stuff. But still, the takedown to the curb, me and you both kind of agree, was a little aggressive on the cop. But at the same time, my opinion on this video is, yes, could have been handled different by the police too, a little bit differently, possibly. But my opinion on this is, if you would have just rolled down the window when he comes up like normal people do when they get pulled over. I don't think I've ever met a person not roll down their window before the cop even comes because they know they're getting pulled over, or when they see the cop walking up at least. But when he knocks on your window, just roll it down and go, yes, officer, or
yes, sir.
Or not even sir, just even what? Like, even say what? Like, if you even just say what, you get a different response than what you got because you're at least complying with what you have to do.
The only argument to that is how you say what.
Well, I mean, yes, be more respectful. I say be respectful, but even if he said what or what did I do or whatever,
good say good evening, officer.
Because then eventually got to give me my ticket and let me go, right? Like that's a little standoffish.
Yeah, because he was wanting to get to the game so he can play or practice or whatever. Because he has a job to do.
But at the same time, like, yeah.
Ego versus ego.
Yep.
But here, yeah, ego versus egos, like Mr. Google said, if you didn't hear. But again, yes, could both sides handle it differently? Most likely. But another thing that I had an opinion on is how many cops have seen, and we mentioned that tint is illegal in Florida, you said. That's too dark, the one that was in the drivers. Yeah. So, yeah. So my thing is, how many cops see him speed? And no, that's Tyreek Hill. Even though it's tint, but you see the car, you might know when you run his registration, you know who he is, and let him off. Yeah. Right? If we stop letting these athletes, these celebrities off with certain things, they don't act different. Right. The way they act would be different.
Right.
So that's my take on that.
Right. I want to bring up something too that we didn't mention is that's the cold take. We'll do that later. We'll do that in a little bit. Did he get away with this in Kansas City and he goes to a bigger town like Miami and now he wants to do it? Or has this been a problem?
And that could be a thing. He could have spent in Kansas City and got away with it and got away with talking to him because Kansas City was a little bit different from Miami. You got celebrities and stuff all the time and more of athletes and stuff because Kansas City got the Royals and
you
but
know,
it's a smaller town.
Yeah, and they
and
were just coming off the Super Bowl win, and he got traded the year after they lost or whatever that was, and I think he got traded after the 2021 season. He's been with the Dolphins the last 2 or 3 years,
Right.
2 years. So, like, do they not want the bad pub? It's like, oh, you know, we don't want a lawsuit on our hands. We don't have the resources. Miami kind of stands up to him a little bit. Now, I do agree the takedown was a little excessive. His attitude sucked. I know what he's trying to do, but he just needs to comply with the officer. The officer may need to tone it down a little bit. Just, hey, if it stops you for speeding, let me run your license registration. Runs it. May just let him off with a warning. All right, Mr. Hill, have a good day. Hope you play well. That's all that needs to be done.
I think and I agree. Now he did come out saying, "Oh, the officer did this," and then when the cam came out, he kind of saying it different to him. Wanted the officer fired and all this stuff. But then the body cam, I think the police station was like, "Well, you want is ridiculous, so let's now release the body cam footage." And now it shows Tyreek Hill's a little bit different light than what he was saying.
Yes.
But again, I didn't care about what Tyreek was saying. We were dissecting the video, right? Because of course, again, you're gonna get. And this has nothing to do. I want to disclose this right now. This has nothing to do with race. This has something to do with someone getting pulled over and someone telling a story, right? You're going to get every story. There's 3 sides. There's that one side, party A side, party B side, and the truth.
Yep.
Now, party B side might be closer to the truth than party A side. But no party is going to tell you the 100% truth.
No.
If you would have interviewed the cop, he would have said Tyreek was doing this, and might have been a little bit more outrageous than what Tyreek really was.
And the same thing with
a person like that. There's too many cameras to show exactly what happened. You cannot lie about these things.
Right, exactly. And that's as the thing, as Mr. Google said, you can't lie when there's so many cameras.
There's a camera everywhere now.
And again, I think he said John New Smith was there. Don't leave. And one of those people were filming. Well, how far are you filming into it? You're filming when he's being not what he was doing at the car. That's why the body cam footage was more important than what someone's cell phone is. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's more important than someone's cell phone, because the cell phone comes out when the dude's getting taken down. They're like, he threw me in the ground for no reason. Like Tyreek Hill was saying, oh, he's doing this for no reason because he knows the people's video cameras around us. But do we not know that every officer and especially bigger cities have body cams now?
They have
like you're not gonna get away with lying.
You have to just assume somebody is recording something when something like that happens. Right. That's just the age we live in now. And I hate to bring this up, but you mentioned it with the news film, you know, the news media being there. And my thing is that if that person running that news story, they live in Miami. What if they came from a smaller town that doesn't like the Dolphins? They're going to put him in a bad light to get him out because they don't want the Dolphins to win.
Maybe he came in
it's a conspiracy theory.
Maybe he came from Kansas City. He doesn't like Tyreek Hill leaving.
Yeah. Well, and then you also think is they're going to put out what they think is going to be newsworthy. They're not going to show the boring parts. They're going to show you the exciting parts. Him getting detained, him getting thrown down on the ground. So they're just going to be like, well, we're going to put this out. You take what you want out of it, but we're going to crop it to where we like.
And again, media, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it. Media plays a certain role in what's also released.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, this is what today's age is. You had a white cop and a black guy getting arrested. So you could play on that a little bit. Now, luckily, I think times are changing again to where we're not playing into that as much as we used to. But that's my take on it, on why it's a big news story.
Yeah.
It's Tyreek Hill, and then, he arrested me for no reason. The cop did this, the cop did this. Now, luckily, Tyreek didn't say the cop was racist or anything. He didn't say any of that stuff.
No, he didn't.
But I think some of the media outlets, some of them, wants to run that story that the cop was that way. Certain three-letter news station that we don't want to mention.
I think they want to insinuate it without saying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Insinuating without saying it. Exactly my point.
Who?
Now,
who? Okay.
So the cold take.
Are you reading it or me?
Who read it last week?
I did.
Oh, then I guess I'll read it
Here
by
it
default because Jake's not here.
We don't have much of a choice unless you want me to read it again. So you can read it out loud. He's got to.
All right.
It doesn't have pictures.
No there's little lips.
Just little lips. I like it.
On the back. If you won the lotto, what is the first thing you would do and why?
The lotto.
Now, we're gonna play this as we won. I'm gonna throw a number out so that way we can figure it out. Because winning the lotto is I can buy a scratch off and win $20.
That's true.
So, but
Or you can
I'm
win
pretty
600
sure.
million.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about like let's just go 500 million,
Okay, lottery,
800.
that's
But
fine.
let's talk about 500 million and let's talk about taxes half, so you get 250. Let's say
Yeah,
you
we'll just
won
say 250.
$250 million is yours to keep. What's the first thing you're doing and why? You know you can't buy an NFL team, so there's that. Outright. Well, I don't know. Panthers might go for $1.98.
Right.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take half of that and put it into a CD for when I'm like 65, 70 years old. So now I got 125 million to live off of, and that other one's gonna create interest.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would want to do, because if I'm dumb enough to blow through my money and have to work, at least when I'm 60, I know I can retire
Yeah.
and blow it again.
Love
But
it.
that's probably the first thing I would do before I even buy a house, before I set up my kids' college fund, before I set up people around me who deserve it, right?
Right.
Before I invest, maybe, hey, I got that much money, let me invest in the podcast. So now that's the only thing I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, setting up for my future would be the first thing I would want to do.
So with this question, this is after we get the money, not that we first knew that we won, right? So we got the money.
Yeah, this is you got the money in your bank account.
Okay.
Cash App says $250 million.
Cash App.
I don't know, whatever bank account you have.
Well, I have a standard checking account. I thought
some people have Cash App as a checking account. Some people have Chime. I don't know.
I'm just trying to draw it out a little bit. That's all. Well, does it have to be just one thing, or could I do two things?
I said the first thing, so
The
you could
first
buy
thing?
500 houses.
I don't want to buy 500 houses. I don't like that many people.
Go to Monopoly. Okay?
Go to Monopoly. I could buy Monopoly with 250 million. I'll buy it. Was it Maytel?
Parker Brothers.
Buy a boardwalk.
Buy a boardwalk. There you go. First thing I'm gonna do is take half of it into a savings account, and that would be like our kids' college fund.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's smart,
Mhm.
but they ain't getting half. Okay, I'm Shaq. You got to earn your money.
No, but it's just gonna pay for school. It's not gonna pay for
See,
everything.
for the college funds for mine, I was thinking $1 million each.
Yeah.
Let it grow, right? Because they're young enough to where it's going to grow big.
Yeah.
But they can't get to it because I'll pay the college, whatever.
Yeah, I would do this.
They're not going to get to it until they get their college degree, so maybe 24 or something.
Yeah.
They don't know about it. They will never know about it
No.
until the graduation day. So even if they're 22 and graduate, work for a few years. Get that work, because you know what? You give them the money and they blow it. Now they don't know nothing.
Exactly.
Let them work for it. So 24, 25, let them struggle a little bit. You can buy them a house. You can do whatever, pay for their college. But it's their college fund, right? You draw a little bit from that college fund. And then when they graduate, that boom, I got loans, I got debt. No, they don't. They worked for a little bit. They struggled a little bit. The money hits their account. Now they paid off the college. Now they got money for a house. It's not enough for them to retire. They got a stable job because they didn't know about it. They got a career, and it sets them up.
Right.
But I want to set up my future too.
Yeah.
On top of, and then their future.
That's why I do the other half and just probably keep it. But I also, another thing I'd like to do is that 250 million. So there's two things. The first thing is, I would like to know, can we take half of it now and the other half get paid monthly, or does it have to be the full amount?
I think you have to do either
You have to
all
do
at
either one or
once.
the other. Okay.
See, and I don't care about the annuity thing, because here's the thing. You could die the next day. Give me the money now. Let me set up the finances. So that way, if I die the next day, at least it goes to somebody.
Right.
My thing is, I know that I can get better interest than the government will ever give me in that annuity.
Right.
I'm going to split mine into 6. I'm going to 6 equal parts. Part of it I'm going to put in the stock market. I'm going to put part of it, a 6th in the stock market, a 6th in bonds, a 6th in large cap international funds, a 6th in crypto and other nonsense.
Yep.
A 6th of it is mine, and there'll be a 6th of it in real estate.
Okay.
So yeah,
That way,
but he's thought about it, and he's very financial.
Yeah.
I'm
paid
stupid.
yearly, yes.
I'm stupid with money. He's very financial savvy. Me, Look, I got it now.
All
I
right,
need to spend it.
I'm going to take back. I'm going to hire Google as my financial advisor. That's going to be my first thing I do.
First thing I do, Mr. Google, how would $2 million sound to be my financial advisor?
Well, I would pay him, yes, because he's going to be moving all this stuff for me, and some of it may or may not be legal. I'm just kidding, but you never know.
Yes.
Legal's only based on how much money you have.
Oh, the one thing we didn't mention with the NFL, I just thought about that.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey, he is out.
Yep.
He did rule him out. We kind of talked about it. He's out till probably October, 4 weeks.
Yep.
I think we talked about this, and I want to know your opinion because I talked about it. I think this is, hey, let him be healthy.
Yes.
Let him be healthy. We need him in the playoffs. We could use him now, but the way the backup played, we're good.
And to be honest with you, even if, like, because tomorrow 49ers play Minnesota, and
We'll see.
We'll see. Mason may not have that great of a game. I think they're confident in Purdy. They can have Debo Samuel come up and run a few wide receiver fly route, or what do they call it, the end arounds or something.
Jet sweep.
So I mean, he had those injury problems he had those injury problems in Carolina. So they want to keep him healthy. So
right.
They're just going to be like, hey, look, get you on IR, come back in 4 weeks. He's still going to be on the sideline for his team. We'll see. We'll reevaluate, see where you're at, and then we're going to save you for the long run because that's where we're going to need you.
So this is the time of the show where we are going to ask if there's anyone watching us still. No one's watching. Okay. Well, this would have been Q&A. So no one's watching. Everyone turned us off today.
Yeah. Not even over there. They're not watching.
Worst views ever.
Okay.
Well, we do this for entertainment purposes.
Yes.
So if there is anyone that joins questions and answers, go ahead. So we're gonna go over our picks next week.
It's Jake, man. Jake. No, we gotta do picks now. We have to make picks now.
Oh, we gotta make now, not next week. I'm talking about we're gonna go over the picks that we're doing for the next week.
Okay, that's not what you said, though. Is that what he said? He did. Okay, sorry.
That's not what you heard.
That's not what I heard. Apparently. Okay, so bring up the picks.
Let's bring up the picks.
So we each got to sign 3 games.
We each got to sign 3 college games. We are doing the Monday night, the Sunday night, the Monday night, the Thursday night.
NFL games and then 3 college games on Saturday.
Yes. So six games, and the colleges are different. So now we can't do the whole Price is Right and try to go, oh, I'm tied with Carl, or I got one ahead of Carl. So let me just pick the same teams he picks so that way I can't lose. So
I just want to spin the wheel. That's all I want to do.
You just want to spin the wheel, huh? The wheel.
You want to get the $1? Do you think I get $1 without going over? Make the showcase, Google? You try.
Okay. I couldn't do it. So
you get the 5 cents on each side to get 10 cents. Be like, all right, Bob and Drew, I think I got to go over there now. I'm going to get beat now.
So we're going to go over Jake's picks real quick.
Okay.
Because he's not here. So he picked the Texans, the Eagles, the Jets. So
who's he got again?
Texans over the Bears.
Okay.
Eagles over the Falcons.
Okay.
And Jets over the Patriots.
Okay.
Then he has, I don't know who they're playing, but he's picking St. Francis.
I don't remember that game.
So that's one of those games that are that's one of those games that are like FCS school, right? Like he's
I think that was the game he sent to.
I think that was one of the games he picked. I'm trying to see if I can find a real code. Okay, so it's St. Francis over Eastern Michigan.
Okay.
He took Nevada over Eastern Washington. And then he's taking Illinois over Nebraska.
Okay.
He chose some wild games, man.
He did. I
think those are the 3 he picked, right? No, okay. He picked Nevada and East Washington.
I would hope.
And then he picked St. Francis and Eastern Michigan.
No, I'm just Nevada over Eastern Washington.
What
a gimme.
I think St. Francis over Eastern Michigan. Don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure since he picked St. Francis, he's going with a 2-point favorite underdog. Because I've never heard of St. Francis before this game.
No, I'm gonna laugh if Eastern Washington beats Nevada. We should put $2 in a bet and see if that happens.
So he picked Nevada. He picked Illinois.
Okay.
Those are going to be 1 point because they're not. If they're underdogs, they're not big underdogs. Okay. But I think St. Francis is a huge underdog. I haven't seen the spread, and I'll look up that later when it comes down time to it.
Okay. The NFL picks are pretty solid. Those would be favorites in my opinion.
So I'll start first with this game.
Okay.
I'm picking the Texans over the Bears. I have one CJ Stroud as my quarterback, but I think Texans aren't gonna have the same problems Tennessee did.
Okay.
And I think they're a little bit better than Tennessee. So I think it's gonna be a little bit harder to score 14 points and all on defense and the special teams and stuff. So I'm going with the Texans over the Bears.
Is that straight up or is that against the spread?
The straight up. Well, all our picks are straight up. The only time you get extra points is if they're projected to be like in the NFL. I think like a 8-point underdog, you should get 2 points because that's big in the NFL. In college football, it should be 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, I almost should have had that today. Damn Morgan State. I'm so sad about that. No, I'm kidding. I am taking the Texans as well because I think they got a better defense. They are going to lock down Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams plays better, but not good enough to win. I'm not going to say final score, but I think this is going to be, 10-point victory.
I think it's going to be a close enough game, but not close.
Yeah.
Right? Like 10 points is close enough,
Yeah.
but not like more than one possession.
Yeah, because Caleb's going to want to come out doubting all the naysayers and saying, yeah, I can play this game, but he's going to play well enough to win, but they're not going to win.
Right.
That's what I think. Next game is
Eagles-Falcons. Who do you have on that one?
I'm taking Philadelphia at home. I think with the offense picked up for Philadelphia last week, Jalen Hurts, he threw a couple interceptions, but Atlanta just kind of looked lethargic coming out of the gate. So I think Philly wins at home, first home game of the season.
I mean, yeah, you want to talk about offense, Saquon Barkley, okay? He had a good game.
Yes.
I'm picking Eagles. I mean, I think they're just that much better.
Yep.
Like that's what it came down to. It had nothing to do with where they're playing. It's Falcons look bad. Eagles is great. They did a great game against Green Bay. I think they have too many weapons for the Falcons on defense to stop.
And Atlanta, to me, may have some of them offensive struggles in this game. I think they're going to try and look a little bit better because everybody wants, you're only good as your last game, like you always say. So they want to come out looking better. But are they? I don't see it.
All right. So Thursday night football. Picking the Jets. Picking Aaron Rodgers.
Is
I don't
the
think
game
he's
in New England. Is it New England at the Jets or is it? Yeah, it's New England at the New York Jets. You're picking. Okay, go ahead.
I'm picking home, but I'm also picking because it's Aaron Rodgers prime time. Again, he had a decent amount of time off because he had Monday and now he has Thursday. I don't think he's going to lose 2 games in a row. I think that team is going to get better. Nathaniel Hackett's a good offensive coordinator. He was great when he was with the Green Bay.
And they played tomorrow against Tennessee. So,
They
played tomorrow against Tennessee.
Right. So it's a quick game. That's what I'm going to say. It's a quick game. He had Monday. He had a little rest, but now it's a quick turnover. It's an easier opponent this week with Tennessee. So Thursday being a new week, it's going to be a little bit
a quick turnaround against the divisional opponent.
And it's an easier team, the Patriots, and then the 49ers, and then you're playing a team like the Patriots who are good on defense. But I just don't see Rodgers losing back-to-back.
No.
Primetime games.
I'm not trying to piggyback. I got the Jets as well, just because of the fact that I just don't see. I can see this being a low-scoring game because both defenses should play better. Aaron Rodgers takes it out at the end because he's a lot better for quarterback than Jacoby Brissett and Drake May at this point.
Right. And like you said earlier, those are pretty solid. Like when I picked this game, I'm like, okay, I think we're all going to be on the same page. Yes. I don't think I looked at him like. I think the one game that we probably I looked at going, it would be different was the Patriots Jets. That was the only one I think, or maybe the Texans Bears, only because I wanted to pick the Bears because I was like, I think they have, but what they did against Tennessee, I couldn't.
Yeah, and I think Patriots defense is what's going to keep them in this game Thursday. I know who does New England play this week. They have. Oh, sorry. They're hosting Seattle, and then they turn around and go to New York on Thursday.
It's okay team. Seattle's not like lighting the world on fire, but at the same time, that
you could say winnable games. These next,
it's winnable, but Seattle's one of those scrappy teams too. Yeah. So it's going to be hard fought.
Yep.
And this is really going to test Gerard Mayo as
a head
coach going from Sunday to Thursday.
We don't know what we're doing on offense. We're just going to hand it off to Ramondre Stevenson and see what he can do. That's all. That's something. Hey, guess what? It worked last week.
So now we're going to go to the college games.
Yep. You and I have different college. Sorry. We have different college.
Well, we do have one together, so we'll go that one first.
Okay. So who
I'm picking Utah.
Utah at Oklahoma State. Why are you taking Utah?
I'm taking Utah because why not? Cam Rising, right? No, he's hurt again, isn't he?
Yeah, he's hurt.
I'm picking Utah because I mean it's their first Big 12 game, right? Because they were the Pac-12, now they're the Big 12. Utah's just one of those teams that's very tough, right? They're great. They're a great team. They do have that one loss maybe in the regular season that keeps them out of the playoffs, but it's usually not ranked teams. It's usually someone like years past would be like Kansas or something, Colorado maybe. But I think they're gonna win. I still think last year they did pretty good when their quarterback was hurt. They still have good depth.
Yep.
So I'm just picking Utah. I know Oklahoma State's a great team, but I think Utah has more power.
The one thing I want to mention about the Utah Utes is a lot like you said, they never lost to Caleb Williams in all the games that they played.
No, they didn't because he had F Utah on his damn nails. And that to me was just like petty.
Yeah.
You want to F Utah, go beat them.
They can't. Well, he can't. He never did. Yeah. The only reason I am taking Oklahoma State because it's in Stillwater. Oklahoma State right now, besides maybe Kansas State, looks like the dominant team coming out of the Big 12 for the playoff. Explosive on offense, like we're used to seeing them. I don't think they're going to win the national championship. I'm not putting them in that light yet. But to me, this will really test to see where both teams are at. It could be like a 34-27 victory, 45-41. Who knows? But because I'm picking the home team.
And another reason I like Utah is because they're known to have defense. Yep. And they were like one of the only Pac-12 teams that had defenses. Yep. That's why they did so good.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12 is the same way as the Pac-12. A lot of offense. So we'll see what that defense does.
Funny you mention that because they give up a lot of points, but they knew when to make stops when they needed to. And
exactly.
that was like just mind-boggling to me.
Exactly. Okay, so you go with your next game.
My next game is Tulsa versus Louisiana Tech. I'm taking Louisiana Tech because Tulsa just lost to Oklahoma State today, and Louisiana Tech looked somewhat decent today and won. I don't even know. I just picked one of them out of a hat. I don't have a really good take.
Question: do you know famous alumni from Louisiana Tech?
Isn't it Terry Bradshaw?
Yes, but do you know who was actually better than him? He was better than him. Could have got drafted. Decided not to. If I tell you why he didn't want to get drafted, it might give it away.
You just tell me.
It interfered with hunting season.
Ooh. Dog the Bounty Hunter?
No, Phil Robertson.
Oh, was it the Duck Dynasty guy?
The guy that started, the dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the starting quarterback before Terry. Could have gone to the NFL. I was like, nah. He didn't want to play it. He didn't want to play.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have done that.
Terry's talked about it. Yeah. They're good friends still.
Right.
So, yeah, I just figured fun facts that you had that game.
Yeah. And then, I've heard that before, and I looked at some of his stats back in the day. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to play. Yeah, I think he could have.
He could have. But he probably made, I think he's made more money with
the Duck Dynasty.
With Duck Dynasty,
and all that.
The duck calls and stuff.
Yeah.
So my next game is Southern Miss.
Brett Favre.
Versus Jacksonville State. I picked Southern Miss. And I picked Southern Miss because of Brett Favre.
I didn't even know you picked him because of Brett Favre.
That's why I picked him. Like I used to play college football and I would be one of those small teams and I would always pick that team. But no, I mean Jacksonville State's 0-2. They're not who they were. I think it was Jackson. No, it was Jackson State that Deion's came. I keep saying Jacksonville State, but it's Jackson State. Jacksonville State's a smaller school. I think Southern Miss is just a little bit better, a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I read it. It's very dead even. It's like 48.9% right now versus like 51-52. So it's not like Southern Miss is that big of an upset on that one. Okay. So or not favorites. But it literally came down to Brett Favre.
Jacksonville State has another Hall of Fame quarterback. Maybe we'll talk, right? A little fun fact: a guy that was playing quarterback high school football just 9 miles down the road from where I lived actually went to Jacksonville State. He didn't start, but he was.
He went there.
He went there and he had a scholarship.
You went to college for football. You're still pretty good.
Yeah. So, my next game is actually one of the games of the week next week. It's Saturday Night Football. The Tennessee Volunteers taking on Boomer Sooner, those Oklahoma Sooners. By golly, what a matchup. I don't think this is going to be close. I took Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what Oklahoma's doing right now, but it's Tulane, right?
Yeah, I hope they beat them.
But no, so
Then I'm really taking Tennessee.
and I would take Tennessee, right? Rocky Mountain Time and all that stuff. Let's go do that.
Nico, man, we gotta go with Nico.
But
Nico's the quarterback of the Tennessee
yeah,
Volunteers.
it's another interesting match, though, right? A new SEC team versus one of the originals.
Yep.
So it's always going to be a great match.
And I think this is going to be a good test to see where Oklahoma is at in the SEC. Are they going to be one of them teams up here?
Well, I mean,
down here, we'll see.
They weren't that great last year in the Big 12. I mean, compared to what they've been.
Yeah.
So they're definitely in a rebuild mode.
And Tennessee, we think could be a playoff team.
Yes. My next
potentially
game was NC State versus Clemson. And you know where I lived? I was down the road from Raleigh. Yeah, No, after last week, I ain't going NC State. Give me Clemson, okay? Yeah, I ain't gonna do. Oh, I live down the road. I Ubered those kids. I don't care. Like, they broke my heart last week. They got smoked. They are not ready for Clemson either. I don't think Clemson's. I think Clemson's not as good as Tennessee, clearly, but I think that they're better than. And it's in Clemson, so give me Dabo Swinney at home.
Yeah,
it's at Clemson. You're playing NC State. NC State just got creamed in Tennessee.
They won today, but
I just can't have faith in when they got creamed by a ranked team until you show me something.
They have been playing to their competition, and I don't think they are as good.
They didn't play the competition of Tennessee.
No, well, they played North Carolina A&T today and 30-20. I mean, you could say
wait. They played NC A&T.
Yeah,
and they won 30-20.
Yeah, in their first game, they only won by like a possession or two.
And let me tell you guys, NC A&T used to be a great HBCU program, but they're on a little bit of a down. They're trying to come back up, and I've seen them play. And I remember the one time when they were on the downfall, they're getting smoked at homecoming. People were leaving. It's called the greatest homecoming on earth, and people were actually leaving the game. That's pretty impressive for an HBCU small to only lose by 10 points to North Carolina State.
To a team
a huge school.
To a team many thought could be a dark horse coming out of the ACC this year.
Yeah, it was good. I was trying to do the whole Pat McAfee swerve thing, like the hometown, I'm closer. Yeah, no, I'm not.
You didn't sing the song. So
I don't know their song. And I won't learn their song until they start winning some more games. How about that?
So do you just not like NC State now because they've got so much hype?
No, I just think Clemson's better too. And it's at home.
Are you really salty because they lost the national championship in basketball to UConn as well?
No,
okay.
Scotty McCreery played for NC State, by the way.
Who?
Scotty McCreery, the country singer.
Yeah,
he played baseball, and Phillip Rivers went to college there.
Yep,
they have some good people. All right, so
we're
gonna do a quick review of the fiery burritos before we hang up for the night. Log off for the night. So those are our picks, by the way. Again, entertainment purposes only, but if you want to bet, don't take mine.
Me either. I'm looking up.
But when you bet, you also usually bet against the spread. That's how you make money.
Exactly.
So you got the team?
No, I'm loading it right now.
Oh, I thought you had the team.
Yeah, we're going way over tonight.
So we'll hurry up real quick with. There's a lot to talk about. Fiery burritos, real quick
and we're playing each other in fantasy. By the
yes,
way.
we are 0-0. I love that score. You're gonna kick my butt, dude, because Ferguson got scratched not last minute, but I figured he was. And
what Tua did yesterday.
So anyway, let's talk about fiery burritos. Last in the league, stamp it. Not really, but he needs to find new quarterbacks. Yep. I think if I was fiery burritos after this week, I would definitely get rid of Tua. Wouldn't bail on Joe Burrow yet, but we definitely need to get rid of Tua because we don't know who's coming back. Who else does he have? So the quarterback play we already discussed.
Running backs are Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams.
So Kyron Williams for the Rams.
Yep.
And Bijan Robinson for the Falcons.
Yes.
Washington.
Or is that's not Bijan Robinson? It's Brian.
That's Brian Robinson.
And then you got Benson from Arizona and McLaughlin from Denver for your running backs.
Okay, so I don't know really too much about McLaughlin and Benson, as much as Brian Robinson for the Commanders. Who are they playing? I think that's gonna be a great matchup for him. I think he's gonna get a lot of points for that. I mean, the Giants just proved they're garbage.
They always play the Commanders,
but they were going against Aaron Jones. But still, I mean.
And the Rams are at Arizona tomorrow.
And I think Kyron Williams is going to have a good game because with no Puka Nacua.
But
You're
he's
gonna
got
run-
Marvin Harrison Jr. on the other side of the ball for Arizona.
He has Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna have a great game against that Rams defense. He didn't have a great game against the Bills defense.
Although he could have caught the game when he touchdown. He was open, but Murray threw it somewhere else.
Again, that's another thing. His quarterback play.
Yeah.
Murray's not the greatest. Alligator arms Murray over here likes to play Call of Duty instead of watching game film.
Well, the fact that he's 5'2" playing quarterback.
5'2" with freaking alligator arms. Okay.
I'm just as short, so it
He's
doesn't matter.
short and he has short arms.
Yeah.
Who's his receivers besides Marvin
You
Harrison?
got George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk. This is just the starters, by the way.
Right. So Ayuk and Pickens.
He's
Ayuk's
got
gonna have
Keon-
a great game.
He has Keon Coleman. Obviously, can't play him. He didn't play a lot. No catches on Thursday. And then Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Judy. Not a bad
Jerry
receiving
Judy's
core.
with,
Jerry Judy
Cleveland.
Cleveland. He's not a bad receiving core.
It's not, but Judy again, the quarterback play. You gotta get a little bit better on offense. I think his stars are good. I think Ayuk's gonna have a good game again. He's got to catch the ball a little bit more, but again, that was the first game. And you said he has Pickens.
Pickens is going up against the Broncos tomorrow.
That's Pitt.
Yep, Pittsburgh's playing at Denver tomorrow.
I think that could be a good matchup.
Parkinson from the Rams at Arizona. So
First
he's got
tight
end.
tight end. I was gonna pick him up actually.
Titus.
I was gonna pick him up, but then I did not. I think that's a good matchup. I think he's gonna get more targets because of Puka Nacua being out.
The reason I'm laughing is because we haven't got to my favorite part of his roster. His defense is the Jaguars. His kicker is Dicker the kicker from the Chargers.
And they play.
I love it.
Dicker the kicker. We all know how I feel about him. Great guy.
Yes, one of the better kickers in the league.
He
Honestly,
That's why they call him Dicker the kicker.
Yeah. So that's why I made. And then the rest of his bench, he has Otten from Tampa Bay, and then Miller from the Rams, who was on IR.
I think with this roster, you could tell he knew who the stars were,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a great roster.
Mm-hmm.
On the starting, some of the bench is okay. Jerry Judy seems like it should be a good pick, but again, when you first draft these people, you go, oh, Jerry Judy, Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper on the other side. Like you got options. David Njoku is the tight end. Like you got options. It's gonna be hard to cover these guys. But then you play the games, right?
And
then you play the games, and then you find out what really happens.
And then he plays Jake, and Jake got 28.5 points from James Cook on Thursday, and he's not projected to win. Sorry, I'm just bringing up the facts.
Yeah, well, Jake needs a win. After last week,
got completely demolished by his brother, who auto picked.
Yeah, auto pick. But these teams, like that's why I love fantasy football, right?
I can't say anything because
James Cook got 28 points, but next week he's gonna get like 5. Right?
It could. You never know though. That's the thing.
Tua did okay last week. I'm pretty sure he did horrible this week. So far.
Oh,
I say so far, it's over for him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at one point I was looking at the game. I think it was like at the end of the first quarter, it was like negative 0.88 or something like that for Tua. Like it was awful. Did he only get like 5 points or 3?
He only got 5.5 points.
And how many picks? 3.
3 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 145 yards passing. He's going up against with Jake. Jake's got Brock Purdy, Saquon Barkley, Tank Dell, or whatever his name is, Dell from
Jaquan.
Houston.
Next.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, Mark Andrews, Chuba Hubbard, 49ers defense, and then Brett Arbery, the Dallas kicker, which
you got Aubrey the kicker who's gonna be
Aubrey
good.
Never
you
misses.
got Purdy. You got Tank Dell. You got who else did you say?
Hopkins from Tennessee. Andrews, the tight end, Hubbard from the Chargers.
After Purdy.
Barkley.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
you got Barkley.
Barkley was the reason I lost to Barkley was the reason I won my other fantasy league.
No, Jake had Barkley against the Packers. He did a great game.
Yes.
He's gonna have a good game. I think
Atlanta.
Fiery Burritos right now finishes bottom 3, 4. Only by what I've seen with performances. Now, obviously, you can make moves.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to make moves at quarterback.
Yeah.
But as what I've seen, and no more injuries, what his team produced last week, and moving forward, bottom 3. Because he only got like 70 points.
Yeah, he's only
77. So, I mean,
his projection
Joe
win is 129 to 105 on a loss.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow is not going to get that low every time.
No.
That's why I say don't drop him, but you need to even if Tua didn't get hurt, I would be like, you need to find a better quarterback that's playing.
Right. And I'm not going to.
After this week, you can at least get a quarterback who's had 2 games in and pick one of them.
Yeah, I don't want to go over the players because we got other people watching. We may have other people watching from our league that might try to.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm not going to go over who's available, but like he does need to make the change of quarterback, not the change of quarterback, backup at quarterback to get that depth. Running game, kind of. I think the defense, kicker, everybody, the receivers are set. Tight end is good, not great, but good. It's just
maybe a little bit better on the bench.
Maybe.
But again, that's just going in there and seeing what the weekly projections are, how much they've done. But that's going to come more into play in like week 4. After 3 weeks of like, okay, this guy consistently gets 10 points and he's available. Let me get him because this running back's 5 here, 12 here, 2 here, but consistently 10. You're gonna want that. You got a 12-man league. It starts getting crumbles, little cookie crumbles. But some of those people come in. Like I picked up. I'm gonna put it Madison and drop Chubb, so Chubb will be available probably. But at the same time, what happened? And the only reason I did is what happens if something happens to one of my, because my flex position was a receiver. So what happens if something happens to my running back? I go in now. There's no one there. I can't have Chubb that start off on the IR. I thought maybe he could get healthy, maybe I can get around. But then with all these injuries we've been seeing in week 1, I'm like, I don't want that to happen. Tua and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want that to happen to me.
No. That's the thing.
And Madison played good. I didn't realize he was the number 1 guy in Las Vegas. I didn't know who the number 1 guy in Vegas was. And after seeing Gardner Minshew, I think Madison's going to get a little bit more reps. Maybe at quarterback.
Maybe. Oh, jeez. Well, you're talking about the running back, Madison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mattison. Not Madison, but Mattison. I think he played for Minnesota.
And then,
he did pretty good in Minnesota. But I just didn't know if he was the number 1 guy in Vegas or not.
No, I don't.
So I didn't want to like pick him. And then when I saw that he was, I was like, okay, I'll take him over Chubb right now, even though my name is giving me a Chubb.
Your name is giving yourself a Chubb. Nice.
No, yeah. All right. Well, that was a good podcast.
Yes.
Next week, Jake will be back, so we'll be back to 3 of the morons. We'll have a different version.
He's here. You just can't see him. He's like John Cena.
Monte Teo's girlfriend, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have a different version of a theme song.
Yes.
After we're done with maybe like 3 or 4, I think we're just gonna keep rotating it.
Yeah.
Until we decide, or you guys decide what's a good one to do.
We just rotate 3 or 4 at a time. I don't know. Just keep it fresh.
I like keeping it fresh. Why not? Wicca. We're gonna be the Fresh Prince.
Bazinga.
But yeah, it was a great podcast. Everyone, please like and subscribe us. Follow Bill B&L Creative Designs on Facebook, or go to their Etsy at BL Creative Design Shop. Like and subscribe to the videos, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Just keep waving.
Do.